sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Yeah. Say hey. Say hey, hey, woo! Hey, yeah! Say hey, woo! Say hey, yeah! Say hey, yeah! Woo! Stake that hex, 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 stake that hex. Every time I look up, price went up. I go to the store, come back, price went up. Every time I look up, price went up. No matter what I do, price is still going up. Hell yeah. Ching, ching, motherfucker. Ching, ching. I am the book. Ching, ching, motherfucker. I just keep hitting jackpot after motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
And to time the market when is with now in the honeymoon phase of Hex, it's better just to stake, buy, stake for the long term, get those shares and collect the 40% APY on average. Why are you going to try to outtrade that 40% APY?
How you can say that with a straight face or not like laughing, giggling and excited is like, it blows my mind because you just said 40% APY. There is nowhere on the face of the planet where you're going to get 40% APY. It just doesn't exist anywhere, and to be pulling that off of a crypto that is solid and has been solidly doing these types of numbers is I mean, it's amazing to me that that's what we actually have in a cryptocurrency is that type of APY and that type of APY guaranteed by an immutable code. And I did say that. I said guaranteed. That's what we're getting right now. There's no way anybody can take your interest away from you that you've made. The price is going to dip and turn and jump and all that kind of stuff. But it's not going to take away your return on your Hex by staking it. So it's something very unique in the space in crypto. I mean, in investing period, you're just not going to get those type of gains anywhere.
Imagine what you might come back to when you run a 10 to 15 year stake. It's, when you put the numbers in the spreadsheet that I put together, it can be pretty impressive and almost seem unrealistic without even, manipulating the numbers that much. You don't need a $10 Hex to see a 7-figure profit when you have that long time horizon. And that was, by the way, I adjusted down to just 5 Hex per trillion shares for 15 years. And I understand it's going to be times it's greater than that, especially with emergency end stakes and your share percentage. So I think that's even very conservative there. I think when I did my video, I bumped it to say 35 cents at 15 years. This was with like 100 trillion shares staked. It wasn't anything huge, but you held that 15-year timeline. And then if you had your principal and big payday factored in at that price point, I think we're just like 1.4 million, maybe 1.2. So there's a lot of potential there. Of course, 15 years is a long time. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, that's a long time. But it's gonna come and go whether you do anything with it or not. So Andrew says, I remember a story of camping when I was a kid in Washington, and we met a guy camping next to us. He told my dad about a coffee company called Starbucks and told my dad to invest in it. My dad didn't listen. Well, there's always those stories out there, right? I mean, my mom, didn't get into eBay. We talked about it at the time. There's a story too of a guy, I think it's in Detroit. He's working at a factory, and this is where you can kind of go to this rags to riches story too. He bought into a company called, I think it was Tampax, right? And nobody had heard of it at that time. Then all of a sudden, boom! Now it's this market brand. Every woman uses it. So he made tons of money on that too. So there's always these new startups, new things. Look, McDonald's was that. Apple was that at one point in time.
And then usually if you hold long enough, you're going to realize some gains, or you're going to see some of these gains. And Hex, it's only been, the bear markets have been very quick.
Yes.
And sometimes they've been prolonged, but they seem to be, dependent on what's going on at the time, but they seem to be kind of bought up pretty quick, and then, chop, and then we take the next leg up. But another analogy I wanted to bring back to Hex was, I know you're not a boomer, but you're like the tier below, but I'm sure you were around in the 80s when interest rates were in the teens, right? They were 10 for a little bit. 15,
well, that's when they were teaching us how to save in savings accounts, and we did, and you put in there, and that was a decent return. I don't think it was quite that high, but it might have been. I don't know, but
it got there. Yeah, at one year, I think it was like 18.
Yeah, and I mean, and that was good, and saving made sense back then, and CDs and savings bonds and muni bonds and all those things made sense back then. Now, not so much.
Hexican, but it's supporting the community, and by them supporting the community and you speaking on their coin and promoting, hey, look, this is something fucking good. Well,
all right. What's up, everyone? It's Corey, an investor again, and I just want to talk a bit about myself and investing. I've been through a lot, been educated along the way, and I just want to inspire a little bit through the music, educate, onboard people into crypto, period. Now, without being financial advice, I believe Hex, Bitcoin, Ethereum should be on your watch list for the next 5 years. And with that being said, let's talk about the highest appreciating asset class today. It's crypto, not stocks and bonds. Boy, this ain't for play. My word plays to educate the children around my way, so they can get out the hood. No, I don't want to stay. Education's critical in my life, pivotal. Could have been in jail or dead. Yeah, it's just that simple. But back to investing. Here, take some notes. Never go all in like jumping off a boat. Dollar cost averaging. Google that term, so you can keep your shirt on, so you don't get burned. Now there's a risk to all investments. This you should know. You can take yearly profits and get ready to blow. In 5 years, 10 years, 15 years you hold, you can live off the interest. That's the part that gets sold. You'll reinvest your capital, or the principal in this case. I'm feeding your brain cells with a terrible thing to read. I said the Hexicans are loyal with the game. You disrespect our clique, bang. Haters keep talking. You learn. This about assets and interest, economical slang. I said the Hexicans are loyal with the game. You disrespect our clique, bang. Haters keep talking. You learn. This about assets and interest, economical slang. Now remember that Bitcoin was a penny a share. Well, Hex is now the same price that has made millionaires. This ain't financial advice, so let's be clear. But Hex did go up when the market was there. Now Hex is like a CD, you get paid per shares. You can swap your value through Uniswap, use the Hex ETH pair. Don't forget to pay your taxes, cause it's only fair. They got Wire, Coinbase, Cash App, oh yeah. I said the Hexicans are loyal with the game. You disrespect our clique, bang. Haters keep talking. You word. This about assets and interest, economical slang. Now it's time to shout out some of the people within Hex. Others helped me in my crypto journey, so I didn't get wrecked. So I'll start from the top. Okay, let me see. There's Richard Hart, Hexologist, Big Pepper, RG3. Got Hodl Dog, Dev Kyle, Crypto Coffee, Silver and Maddie, can't forget the cat Desky. Dollar cost average, Kinetics and Motley. Freddie Quotes, Fire Bun, Steph and Gary. Got Yash Deep, Dave Feeder, Karim and Hex Kong, Joe Hexotic, Hex Lion. Man, this is getting long. Let's shout out to Craig Grant and yes, Trayvon James. We're all content creators and should all be treated the same. I say that to say this, we're in this crypto matrix. It's us against them, and we're about to go ape shit. We're the Hexican Space Force, and we're blasting off this year. So Hexicans unite, cause we savages out here. I said the Hexicans are loyal with the gang. You disrespect our clique, bang. Haters keep talking. This about assets and interests, economical slang. I said the Hexicans are loyal with the gang. You disrespect our clique, bang. Haters keep talking. This about assets and interests, economical slang. It's gonna be a hot summer this year. You feel it? I can feel it. Listen, united we stand, divided we can conquer. Listen, crypto was meant to be trustless, no middleman, no counterparty risk. Verifiable via the blockchain. Listen, let's stop hating, let's start communicating. Ain't that many of us? Remember, we early, right? That's right. We early, we gotta stick together, man. So, man, shout out to the BC. Shout out to the Big God on the track. Man, there's nothing more to say, man. Become a Hexican. If not, you with the rest of them.
You know, and I think that mentality that you just presented is absolutely warranted. BallietBran, by the way, an amazing Hexican. He was definitely, on my streams, dropping donos and promoting me, retweeting. Like he's that guy, and there needs to be more BallietBrans, just to continue, putting forward the content, and really taking appreciation to the people who push our content creators like you. Again, I love what you're doing. You need to go up in the ranks, because this here is so unique, but so needed, especially now with the whole pandemic. You are doing God's work, man. You're not doing work for yourself. This is something different. Okay?
Thank you, Joker.
Absolutely.
Bran just asked too, not even why I'm saying all this. Bran asked I said to DM you, but now that we're talking about Bran asked Joe, what is Joker's ETH address to donate to? Right. So that's tonight. That's right now, a few minutes ago. I mean, that's who Bran is. Just so, I mean, DM him, please. Bran's an inspiration to us all. And for you to go ahead.
I love Bran. Man, he's such a giving soul, man. Absolutely. We need, again, we that type of love is like, it's unmatched, and that's all in the Hexican community, guys. Like it's so fucking unique. I've never seen a community like this in my entire life. Like look at what what's his name was doing, Ski Cat. He gave away $50,000, bro. Where do you see that?
Ski Cat gave me 500,000 hex on the 24-hour stream when I first came out and told my story. That was the first time,
Wow.
for a large audience. There was 1,700 people watching. Maddie and I had been on for Hex Therapy Live, which we do Thursday nights after Hexologist. That was, we're just learning. We're just figuring out the ropes. I went on that show. I provided my testimony. I didn't even know if I was going to talk because there was 10 people on screen at once. And for the first half hour, my audio wasn't working right because my first time using StreamYard with a big group, I didn't have the settings right. And finally, it just came to an opportunity where, like I said, I didn't even think I was going to talk. And Hexologist looked over and said, "Hey, Joe, what's your story with Hex?" And, I said my story, and Maddie's made a video of this so I could see the comments as I was providing my testimony, and nothing but love, just hundreds of comments of support. And then because of that support, organically what happened was Ski Cat realized, here's an individual that's been through the ringer, myself, and now he's here. And what did he do to help me? He donated 500,000 Hex, which at that time, Hex was at a penny. Just like it is today, it's a little bit over that. That was $5,000, to somebody that I've never met. I don't know him. I don't know who he is. And like you just said, he's donated over 10 million Hex to people in the Hex community.
That's so amazing, man. That is so amazing. Again, it's a blessing. It's really a blessing, and we have the power to do it. Like it's so unique, and we have such outreach, and we know what we're about, and the coin's gonna explode, and we are the pioneering fucking content creators.
There's so many scams. I have to change my username. Don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere. Richard Hart bracket. Don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere bracket. That's fucked up, right? And I'm out there actually making an effort trying to stop the fucking scams. And everyone else is like, oh, fucking that Richard. Yeah, he's a scammer.
Call it a scam. Nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. ICOs, pump and dumps, they always try to take you. Buy low, sell high, I'm tired of your fake news. You need a token, you broken, you wanna see some massive gains? Lambo, new crib, model, wife, cash and chains. Look no further at your final destination. Don't be complacent every day when you paper chasing. Choose the best, leave the rest, stop investing like you press. The only crypto that you'll ever need is Hex. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. Your investments are safe, it's got defenses. A mutable contract that pays trustless interest. I don't understand why everybody is hating. Hex is capped at 3.69 inflation. Shares are like hash rate. The higher you take her, the more daily interest that gets paid to the stakers. Always do your own research, don't listen to me though. It's complete, it can't be changed. Hex is finito. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans. The game has changed, ain't no going back now. Dummies that called Hex a scam can back down. I hope you understand, I pray that you follow me. You owe the entire Hex family an apology. And stay sober, cash out, the game's over. Hex is here for the market cap takeover. Buckle up, we about to be full throttle. With multiple audits is where we get paid to hodl. We got the game smothered, sisters and brothers, with no expectation of the work from others. It's complicated, I know that there's a lot to this. For your daily Hex updates, tune to Hexologists.
What's up, guys?
Hex is like nothing that you ever been through. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the pumpamentals. If you like what you hear, buy now, stake twice. Just remember, yo, this ain't financial advice. Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Hexicans.
All right, guys, give me just one last second, 10 more seconds for the next clip.
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. BallietBran.
Alrighty, what is up, everybody? It's BallietBran. Hope everyone can hear me okay. Hope everybody is doing well. I know I'm doing well, and it's a good Saturday. So the person, we're just going to get right into it. The person we're going to be having on today is the same person that we've had on my last live stream. Hex Mac is his username, and we had a pretty good time on the last live stream. It was kind of just a random stream after the Discourse Syndicate, and anyways, we're gonna have him back on now and kind of just do a interview and just see what he's up to, and kind of everything under the sun there. So let me just get into just a couple of comments real quick, and then we'll bring him on in just one last second here. So I just want to acknowledge the chat. So we've got Children of the Grave. It says, Joe, you're the man. Joe says, no, Children, you're the man. Let's see here. Old Man Hex, good to see you. Old Man says, how much are backstage passes? Exactly. We got Hex Mac, who's the gentleman that'll be joining us. He's in the back room now. We'll just add him in the chat in just a second. Just want to do some keeping duties. So he says bunga bunga bunga. All the OGs kind of know that reference in regards to Hexologist and his streams and whatnot. David says I'm okay with the cult. Bunga bunga bunga. Crypto Butler. Brian's the man. Period. End of story. Brand's the man. Yeah, you know, BallietBran and Brandon Balliet are my real names, and then I've had some other channels that I've had before using my real name that were just backups. So now those are kind of the backup channels, and the BallietBran is the main channel that I'll be using from now on. So, and then Mr. Locomot, this is another gentleman that him and I have chit chatted. You know, we've done like a Telegram call before, and we might be doing a stream sometime in the future. So I'd look forward to that if we can do that. Exactly. Brian Jones came from a you know, if you want to create a good alias, just use like a coworker that you've worked with before. So that was how I came up with Brian Jones. And then Steve Johnson, that was just a neighbor that I used to have. So anyways, complete docs there. Corey, an investor, says, hey, what's going on, Hexicans? Corey, his new song is the one that I just played. And then I need to get his old song in there as well. But without further ado, let's just say hi to Bitfinesse and then CJ Urid. Okay. So without further ado, let's get the guest on. The whole point of the channel, and not the channel, but the whole point of this episode is to kind of similar to what RG3 does, you know, give that person a voice and kind of just hear about how the person came into Hex. And we covered a little bit of that information when he was on my last stream, but this one's much more formal. So it's going to be a good time to see him. So anyways, without further ado, we're going to bring him on, and good to see you, Motley, as well. Okay. Hey, how's it going, Hex Mac?
Good. How are you, man?
Awesome. Doing good, man. Doing good. I can hear you.
Good to see you.
And yeah, good to see you too, man. Let me see if I can do, I guess we'll go this way. But yeah, dude, good to see you, man. And it was a pleasure having you on the last time with Gary and Alan and everyone else. It was a good time. So happy to have you for a second time, and appreciate
Absolutely. It. Good to finally meet everyone after, you know, a year of hiding in the shadows. So yeah, it's good to come out.
Totally, man. You know, it's so cool because I think a lot of us that have shown our faces on camera and our names on camera have dealt with the similar thing. And as far as, you know, coming out on the camera itself, and I mentioned that Hex Swimmer, you might need a refresh, or Hex Swimmer, you might want to go to youtube.com/BallietBran. It might be working there as far as the Twitch goes. But anyways, so what I was going to say is, as far as I guess like coming out into the Hex community and like participating, before I was kind of just lurking, similar to what like Richard Hart mentions when like he's a OG, he's been around since like 2010, 2011. And
totally.
He mentioned that he would lurk for like the longest time until 2017 was kind of, he felt like compelled to, for the sake of Bitcoin, to come out. And anyways, Hex definitely gave me that like compelling force and momentum as well to you know, come in and join the community. So it's so cool that a lot of us have chosen the same thing.
Absolutely. And I've been in crypto for 5 years. I've seen everything under the sun. It wasn't until Hex that it was like, yeah, you gotta, there's a party going over there and you've got to go and join it.
It's so true, man. And I feel the same way. Yeah. Like I was in other crypto communities since like early 2017, like March 2017. And they were all cool and I could sense the community, but nothing is like what Richard has fostered and what he has kind of like what Hex, the community itself, is coming to fruition itself. Like the really
it's
cool
all
thing.
Organic.
Exactly.
It's all organic.
It's so true, man. It's totally like a grassroots type movement. And the thing that's so different about the Hex community versus all of these other cryptocurrencies is not only is it not just about crypto itself, but even just the crypto aspect of Hex. Richard definitely set the precedent and the example by having the code audited, completed, all before launch. You know, none of the ICOs of 2017 or even the projects that are still around ever did what Richard's done. And it's so cool that he went like almost overkill. Like he wanted to make sure that the security itself had enough time to be developed and audited, and everything about it's perfect.
It's a rarity to find that in crypto. I mean, I was having a conversation yesterday where, even Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're not done. They're not finished. They're still a work in progress. And there might be, a handful now after Hex, but Hex was the first one. Done, complete, audited, triple audited. That was groundbreaking at the time. Nothing had ever done that before. And that's the standard now. That has to be the new standard moving into the future. All of this stuff, I've even heard rumblings on Twitter that Richard might put in for an audit for Bitcoin finally after a decade. And that is so overdue. I can't believe that there are so many, famous influencers out there, like a Pompliano or anyone like that. Andreas, what are you guys doing? Pay for an audit. You got the money. Go and pay for an audit.
It's so true. I mean, when it comes to a cryptocurrency itself, it's obviously code based, and when that code itself is not modular and it's like a spaghetti code, which is the way that Bitcoin is, then when they try to when they try to introduce like new implementations of patches or new forks and whatnot, then that's when some of the actual code exploits have happened. Is like, one thing happens here which we think is an update, but in reality it allows like an inflation bug on the back end that no one knew.
Absolutely.
It's not modular, so it's really cool.
And then they're going to keep tinkering away at that, and that's to have the number 1 and 2 coins, in the market space, be tinkering coins where they're still, adjusting things and adding staking and coin burning and all that. Like, it's worrying for the future of those projects, but nothing's gone wrong so far. So fingers crossed.
So true, man. It's really cool. I mean, in a little bit over a year, Hex has far exceeded my expectations. And I've told Richard that many times on his streams or even just in like Telegram chats, like, dude, thank you so much for like creating this and like giving someone like myself the opportunity, because I was always interested in like passive income or even crypto. Like when crypto came out, I knew like this is the shit. Like this is the next generation of what's going to be the future and what's going to be like the new financial system or just speculation system. And it's just so cool the way that Bitcoin's been around for such a long time. All these other cryptos have been around for such a long time, but Hex did everything right, and we can see the fruition of all of the work coming into play as the community grows bigger. We've got people like Corey, an investor. He's in the chat as well. He's done 2 Hexican songs. Maddie all in with the community itself. Like we got such a cool movement and community going. It's awesome.
I love the community so much. It's odd to find on crypto, just in the crypto space in general, a good community that has integrity and loyalty. And, usually it's, hey, until I've done holding my bag, I'm in the community. And then as soon as I dump my bag, I'm gone and I'm done. And then I'm going to, trash talk the coin that I was just in. So the 15-year, staking is a really good incentive to keep a strong, tight community over the next decade plus.
It's so true. I mean, one of the things that, Richard, he knows, he understands a lot of complexities when it comes to cryptocurrency in general. But, the point that you bring up, it's generally a trader, because they're, generally speculators or traders. But when they buy something, it's generally for the price to go up, but then they'll hold it liquid to sell it at a profit or positive or negative wherever they sell it at. But to your point, and to Richard's point that he's mentioned many times, is that when a trader sells their bags, yes, they shit talk it. It's the worst thing ever. And the cool thing about Hex is not only does it, I try to tell people, like, it's a smart contract. Like it's not a company. It's not Richard that you're interacting with. No, like it's just a smart contract that's built on top of Ethereum, similar to like Uniswap. Uniswap is audited. It's no admin keys, and you're just interacting with the smart contract. You're not interacting with any website. So I try to tell people that might not have that knowledge that, like, yes, this is totally secure. Like, you are the one that's minting your own inflation and rewards. It's no one else doing it. And we've just never seen anything like this, not only in the traditional finance legacy system, but even in cryptocurrency and with proof of stake and stuff like that. We've never seen such a cool technology. And it's just so amazing that Richard's the pioneer of that.
He definitely saw a market niche and took control of that very quickly. And that's to be commended. I mean, the intelligence to even just think of something like that is pretty spot on.
It's so true. And one of the cool things that, and I know we don't really have any formal structure in this, so we can kind of just, take it whichever way we want. But one of the cool things that Richard mentioned is you don't necessarily want to be like competing with someone else that's doing the same thing. But in crypto, we've never seen any like certificate of deposit type of crypto until Hex. And so it's so cool that one of the things Richard mentioned is cryptocurrency. There's positives, there's negatives, just like with anything. But with Ethereum being like the world computer and stuff like this, decentralized like applications or in decentralized like finance, like Hex, can be built on top of it. And one of the things Richard said before is like, if you're given the ability to program money, the first thing you should program is, interest and trustless interest. So it's just so cool that we all have that opportunity now.
Absolutely. I get caught between that feeling of, I'm very grateful to be here. Absolutely. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And with Bitcoin, that was a once in a lifetime opportunity. If you were there from the start until now, that's dramatically changed your life. Same for Ethereum. I don't know any other coin apart from Hex that I feel the same way about moving into the future. So it is where we should be very thankful that we're here right now.
Exactly. And like I was saying earlier too, is that with crypto itself, like Bitcoin is less than 15 years old. It's like 12 years old. And in Hex, you can lock up your stakes for anywhere from, first off, you don't have to lock it, right? You can buy it liquid just like any other token or ERC20 where it's tradable. But then the second thing you can do is you can earn an interest trustlessly based on your principal by just the actual T-shares that you get in return for staking the Hex. So you can stake from 1 day all the way out to 5,555 days. But the cool thing is, and a lot of people like they don't consider this a fee. A lot of people, they're just not that educated, and they consider this like something to be scared of rather than a feature. But it's so cool that, like Richard mentioned, if people in Bitcoin that were investing when it was $1, if they could have locked it up for 5, 10, 15 years and earned an interest on it, well, that's similar to what Hex is. I mean, the other thing that I'll say real quick is, a lot of people in my life, they see like a change in like personality and energy and like motivation and stuff like this from Hex, and that it's really improved my happiness and things like this. But a lot of people, it's just really cool that a lot of people are asking me like, dude, what is this Hex thing and what is this crypto thing, and it's just cool to be able to like share passive income and interest for everyone, because it's a even playing field and a level playing field for everyone.
Absolutely. When you just mentioned there that people around you have seen a considerable difference in your attitude, your drive, your motivation, I get this sense that whether Richard designed it that way or not, that Hex is, one, it's life-saving technology, first and foremost. And then it's life-extending technology, second of all. So it saved people from themselves and saved people from a future that they probably didn't want to go down a lot of the time. I mean, imagine not being in Hex. How different would your life be not being in Hex? For me, pretty considerably different.
It's so true. The last point that I was trying to make, I kind of forgot the point as I was saying it, but
That happens.
yeah, especially when you're live, people don't realize
Yeah.
that. But one of the things I tell people is in the whole world, not just United States, but every other country, the top performing asset was Hex of 2020. And it's just so cool to like, that's a fucking amazing accomplishment, man.
Oh, year one? That shouldn't be allowed. Like, it's so wrong, but it's so right. I love it.
It's so cool, man. And we're still in my opinion, like the phase in Hex is just so early. Like, even though we've had, whatever appreciation that we've had in the beginning, that's just like the start of it. But we're just so early, man, that, and it's like, I'll keep saying it until it is redundant, that the opportunity with Hex right now, it literally is similar to buying Bitcoin at $1. And we saw New Year's Eve, at least in my time zone. Well, I guess just every time zone, but in New Year's Eve, we saw the Hex price pump to 2 pennies. And, it's consolidated to where it's at today, which is about 80% of a penny, 4/5 of a penny. But the cool thing is I know someone like yourself, we're going to get into your story a little bit, but a lot of us in the beginning, Hex has appreciated so much that a lot of us were just thinking that 1 penny was going to be and it is such a like feat, it's such a milestone and marking. But when Bitcoin came out, it was less than a penny, and it went from pennies to, tens of cents, and then dollars, and then tens of like, people don't realize, not only does cryptocurrency, not only is it like the highest appreciating asset class, but when you take something that's just simple economics of supply and demand, and you take Hex, where you're locking up the supply and you're burning it until a future date, that just changes the game theory and the economics of the price appreciation so much more, in my opinion.
And the levels of game theory are, I'm sure that we probably still don't even comprehend how deep the game theory is, because it hasn't been out for long enough to have seen the results of that game theory. I mean, imagine when we get to 50 cents or the 10,000x, and it's like, okay, we just flipped Bitcoin. What happens then? Like that moment of virality where it's just everywhere. The next 2 to 5 years, that is like Hex expansion phase. It's going to be, as you said, we're in the, we're lucky to be in the, the spot that the people in Bitcoin were in 2011.
It's so true, man. And with all of that being said, for anyone that wasn't aware, yeah, Hex Mac, he's been on my stream before, but for maybe anyone that didn't catch that stream, and now that I'm in like a more like clear state of focus and whatnot, can you maybe not only like tell Hexicans like when you got into crypto? I know you mentioned earlier you've been in it for 5 years, but not only like when you got into crypto, but maybe how you came into Hex and how you stumbled across Richard Hart. Can you maybe give us a little synopsis of your story?
Absolutely. So I got told multiple times about Bitcoin from a friend who was invested in it. And it was the classic, like, hey, put some money into this, and in a couple of years, you'll be driving around in a Lambo. And that's like the worst elevator sales pitch ever. Like, it's good on one level. It's good. Lambo's good. But there's not a lot of depth behind it. There's not a lot of like, oh, just quick money, or, I'm just going to be balling. So it took like 2 or 3 times for him to say to me, and this was over multiple years as well. And I wish I, probably had to listen to him a bit sooner. But yeah, I got in 2017. I think the first time I saw the price was probably between $7,000 and $9,000, and then I didn't end up buying until $11,000. I was buying all the way up to $13,000, and I saw my money go after, you know, I stopped buying at 13, and when it went up to 20, I had like 5-10 grand. I was like, oh, this is awesome, this is so good. And then crash. And yeah, a good 3 years of bear market after that. But I just kept hodling. You know, there's ways to make more crypto every day. So I just went out and figured out the ways to do that, whether it was through things like faucets, mining, you know, the little things that you can get airdrops on, the Coinbase that you can like stack money through doing the earning on Coinbase. So I just every day was just, you know, I became disciplined to where it was like, okay, you're just going to try and stack as much of this as you can. You're going to try and get as much Bitcoin as you can. And that was the game over that bear market 2-3 year period. Was just work, dollar cost average in, pick up as much as you can in preparation for the next bull run. And, you know, while you're doing that, you learn about the 4-year cycles and the lengthening cycles and when this might start kicking back off again. And after 2017 as well, I felt it got a bit frothy in terms of the hype and, you know, just how high and how quickly Bitcoin went to 20K. So there was this air of like, will it do anything after this? Is this it? Was that it? You know, and I just kind of stuck through it. I didn't pay attention to that. I figured if I was going to get, you know, money every day and I could make money every day doing that, it didn't matter what I was holding it in or having it in. So yeah, I just stacked bags for years and years and years. I dabbled with a lot of altcoins, different stuff, Tezos, Cardano, like Tron, just shitty stuff, not complete. Promise coins really didn't have much utility. And then in 2019, I stumbled across Richard's streams somehow. I can't really remember how. It was probably just through all the influencer videos on YouTube more than anything. Right. And then, yeah, that rabbit hole opened up wide up, and that just sucked me in. And so for that, you know, 6 months before Hex launched, I found Richard. I went down the rabbit hole. I watched all the videos. I learned how to get my Bitcoin onto a wallet where it would, you know, be underneath the snapshot, so you could free claim your Bitcoin. That was you know, getting into Hex. There was no DeFi before Hex. There was none of that Uniswap or anything like that. So that was a really like accelerated learning program where, okay, you're gonna have to learn how to sign a transaction and do all this stuff that you've never done before because you haven't needed to, and then, you know, learn how to use MetaMask and Ethereum and all that stuff. And yeah, that never ended. I still go back and listen to a lot of Richard's old stuff and Hexologist and Discourse Syndicate for the last year pretty much straight. So I've had a journey in crypto. It's never been bad. I've never, you know, lost huge chunks of money or anything like that. Never traded, just a hodler. So yeah, I've had a fairly good experience in crypto. I mean, I've never had a problem in terms of losses or anything like that. So my experience has been pretty positive, and I'm really happy for that. It's not a lot of people's stories in crypto.
Exactly. And that's so important too. I mean, you know, one of the things you mentioned is like towards the beginning of your story, like the person that was kind of like telling you about crypto and whatnot, is they almost kind of like oversold it. You know, they like overpromised and underdelivered. And they
told me the end game.
Yeah.
And nothing about how to get there.
Right. You know, that's so true. And honestly, like a lot of people, including myself, like I remember early 2017, even where it felt like that was the year that like I guess like the best analogy that I could use is like the internet, where like in the 90s and like the late 90s, it kind of like went mainstream, and a lot of people were wondering like, what is email and stuff, but it didn't actually become like now 2021 we're in like mainstream internet, you know, kids in Africa and like all around the world, like everyone's got a smartphone. But sometimes it takes a little bit longer, especially with something like not only internet, but now like blockchains built on top and all of this stuff like hexes and smart contracts, but it takes a little bit of time to build those roads and like to pave the foundation. But what Hex is literally doing is, and what crypto is doing, but Hex specifically, is it is creating like a new financial system, or at least like a different way to invest for your retirement and for your future. The longest you can lock Hex is 5,555 days, which is like 15.2 years. And one of the last things we talked about when we were all on stream is, you know, instead of such a like trader mentality or anything like that, like I consider it like a like in America, like we have got like 401ks and things like that. And it seems to be like that retirement account or that longer term investment, you know?
Absolutely. I actually wanted to bring that up on stream today. So I don't know how the 401ks work specifically in America. I don't know if everyone gets one or whether it's kind of like offered to you through a job. And
it's offered, yeah, through the job.
Yeah. So in Australia, it's a bit different. Everyone here gets superannuation.
Okay.
And that's similar to what a 401k is. So it's a retirement account or a retirement savings plan. And that starts as soon as you enter the workforce here.
Okay.
Part of your employer's, you know, the part of the money that they pay you, a percentage of that just goes into that retirement account. Every pay, it doesn't matter where you work or who you work for or whatever job you're doing, whatever industry, they all contribute to your superannuation. So everyone here in Australia has a retirement account, whether their workplace offers it or not, which is a bit different from how the rest of the world works. But here in Australia, you can actually get access to that superannuation account, and not in the sense of like, hey, I can just get in there and spend all the money in there. It's more like you can do something where the superannuation turns into a self-managed fund.
Mm-hmm.
So about a year and a half ago, and this was before Hex, it was the timing of this was just perfect. Me and my dad, because my dad does it that way, he runs his own superannuation. So he invests the money as he sees fit, rather than leaving it to a company or an organization who then goes and invests it on his behalf. So we can have control over it. So he knows that he can put his money in the place where it's going to give him the best returns rather than just trusting it to someone else. So yeah, I took the start of that process and turned my superannuation into a self-managed super fund. It's called an SMSF. But all like 90% of the money in my superannuation account is in Hex. And I've set it up so that I have like a personal account, and then I have a retirement account, and my ladders are similar across the two. I've got ladders from 1 to 15 years and then gaps in between, and the same thing in the retirement account. But that gave me like $30,000 to just go, there you go, put it into Hex, stake it out for 15 years, you're done. And that's, you know, aside from my personal account as well. So I don't know how it works, if you guys can get access to your 401ks or anything like that. But if you can, try and get access to it. And a lot of the time, what they invest you in is just garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Put some into Hex. 15 years, you don't have to think about it. I can't even touch that money. It's not like I can do anything with it. So, I mean, in the last year since I put that initial amount in, it's like 5-6x since then. And you know, right, like that's huge. In a year or two, you like 6x your money that you have for retirement. It's crazy. And not a lot of people know it, or not a lot of people take the steps to go and figure it out. But that can just change your life completely, doing that. And I encourage anyone who's out there in crypto, me and my dad also, you know, in the next couple of months, we're going to start an investing business where we just put some money together into a pool. We, you know, figure out what we want to go and invest in and do that. Hex has changed my life so much that I'm at that point where it's like, I could stop working. I could drop what I'm doing in my real life and just go full bore into crypto and Hex.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. That's never existed in another cryptocurrency.
It's so true, and it's amazing. I mean, it's given people like myself an opportunity, even like because I've been in crypto, like I said, and similar to you, but in early 2017, and we saw a lot of price appreciation, and that was great. But Hex just takes all of that to a whole new level, and sometimes I hear some of the banter in the crypto community, or not crypto, but the Hex community, and they're like, oh, I wonder what Hex is going to do in a bear market. And it's like, we've already seen what it's going to do in a bear market. Like before, our bull market was a bear market, and sure, it was the end of the bear market and as the bull market was forming, but we've seen what Hex can do, and we've seen what crypto can do. 2017 wasn't the start of the market cycle. Like it was a couple of years back when Ethereum was pennies, and and all the way up in like 2.5 years, it appreciated like 10,000x. Like,
Yeah.
that's what a bull market is. That's what crypto can do. Bitcoin did. I know recently it's been past like 40 something thousand. Like that's a 4 million X if you did hold it from a penny all the way that long. But the thing is, to your point that you and I were kind of talking about earlier, like, a lot of people, especially in my opinion with Hex, but with crypto in general, we've seen this with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin was a penny and say it went to 8, some people, they just unloaded their whole bags right then and there. And they didn't realize, Johnny Chaos, John Lavelle, CCFX Studios, he's mentioned this before, where everyone learns through analogies, right? But he's mentioned that like in this bag is marbles. You're able to acquire Hex under penny, sub Satoshi, the whole 9 yards, or even right now, sub penny. And you think you're holding a bag of marbles, when in reality, similar to like Amazon stock of the 90s, like sure, there was the bust, like the burst of the bubble, but now it's like, the chart itself, Richard's mentioned, it's just been up. It's just been up and to the right, decades later. But they think they're holding marbles because they got it for the marble price. But in reality, that shit is the purest of diamonds, and it is the most valuable asset and most highest appreciating asset of 2020. And it's just like, guys, we're just getting started. I hear so many people saying like, oh, Hex already appreciated 352x or whatever it is now. And they're like, is it still too late? Like, I don't want to buy the top. And it's like, was Bitcoin still too late after $1? Like, you got to be able to think long term and have that perspective and time horizon. And the thing is most people do not have that. Even like my parents, or like just people I know around my life personally, they cannot comprehend locking up an asset or cryptocurrency for 15.2 years. And so just because they can't comprehend it, I'm not going to let them, get left behind in the dust. I was smart enough, like in September or whenever I got the Uniswap airdrop, I was smart enough to realize, you know what? I've already had enough Hex gains. I'm going to spread some of this wealth just because I wanted to my family members, to my girlfriend, and give them the opportunity, because they might not be able to see the same opportunity that I'm able to see, years out in the future. But I'm not letting them get left behind. They all have their own wallets. They all have Staker app. In the future, they're going to be able to do other things with Staker app. It's just so cool, and we're just getting started.
And that's so important. I mean, you can go out and make yourself a millionaire and do all that fun stuff. But if you don't have people to share it with, like your family and your friends, like there's not a lot of point to it. You've got to, and I try and do this. I've tried to onboard so many people since I've been in crypto. Like there was a phase there where it was like, after a couple of the first Hex pumps, you're like, to everyone, you're like, get into Hex, get in, like get in now. But you, like, for a lot of people, like, you can't convince them, even just to get into crypto. Like, that's a huge monumental step, just to step into the world of crypto. So you've done the right thing in saying, hey, you're not going to get left behind. I don't care if you do it or not. I'm just going to do it for you, and we'll deal with you know, however that plays out in the future. And you've done the right thing. Absolutely. I mean, I got my dad into Bitcoin. He does all the finances for our family. So
Nice.
I got him into Bitcoin, and he's 62. And during this last year, he got made redundant from his job because of the pandemic, and I got made redundant from my job because of the pandemic. So we were in this space of like, oh, you know, he's 62, retirement age here is 60 to 65. I didn't really want him to go back and have to find another job and keep working and doing all that stuff. So I said to him, and this was before we got made redundant and all that kind of thing, but I think it was about a year and a half ago. I was like, you've just got to get in. You've got to get in. And, you know, I remember exactly because I have the text in my phone, but there was a point where Bitcoin was $3,000. And I said to my dad, you need to go and buy Bitcoin right now. And you need to go and do that. And he's, you know, 5 to 10 Bitcoin now deep. And it's completely changed his life. He's been able to retire, and I've been able to help him do that. And, you know, after him supporting me for a lifetime and sacrificing, working for 42 years, 50, 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, it's time for me to pay him back. And it's time for me to be like, nah, you're done working. I'll take care of it from here on out.
That's so cool to hear, man. And like I said, I feel the same way. I mean, I'm 24 and I've got 3 older brothers, and, you know, my dad's kind of in that age range too, you know, late 50s, you know, kind of approaching early 60s next year and whatnot. And it's so cool. Yeah. To be able to give back and whatnot. Cause, you know, before I've always been very giving and loving and stuff like that. But, you know, if you don't have anything to give and you're trying to like give it away, then you're just going to screw yourself, you know? So you know, the cup needs to overflow at first. And so it's just really cool that when, cause my parents and everyone that knows me knows that I don't do movies. I don't do this games or any of that anymore. It's just like ever since 2017, it's been crypto. Like I just knew that this was I knew this was the new technology. I knew just how advanced it was and how in depth and intricate it was that I needed to, like, you know, get involved somehow. And it's cool that Hex has allowed me to do that. But when I was telling my parents that, like, hey, you know, you don't even have to understand this. Like, I've already created you a wallet, and all you need to do is just like I'm going to show you how to do it the right way. Like someone that's had battle scars, that's, you know, you have to learn through your mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes, you know, costed you a lot of money in the past, but sometimes you have to go through those mistakes to, you know, have the successes in the future and the fruition in the future. And so my intro was kind of like all around, like generally it's like a two 7.5 minute segments. And then, but I had some other stuff like Corey's song and the
Freddie's song.
Freddie's music video that one of the parts that didn't get played this intro, but I resonate with it like sincerely, not only because I'm in Washington State and that's where the analogy and story is from, but Big Pep, he was talking about someone that had the opportunity when they were on a hike, someone in the Washington State area, Pacific Northwest area, had told them about Starbucks and like, oh, you know,
I saw that.
blah, blah, and the person didn't invest. Or Big Pep even mentioned that with his mom, she missed out on eBay. She had the opportunity with eBay, and there's just so many of those stories that we hear, you know, not just with crypto, like, oh, I heard about Bitcoin 5-10 years ago, and they get mad about like not investing in it, so they just don't. It's like, no, just because you're like, you know, just because your perception of reality is that you're late to the ship doesn't mean that at all. Like when it comes to crypto, when it comes to Hex and whatnot, Richard's mentioned, like, sure, Hex has shown tremendous growth and whatnot, but this is nothing. Like people that do like Clash of Clans and like video games, they have hundreds of millions of users on their servers. Like, and, you know, we've got like 30 or 40, whatever it is, like unique addresses. And, you know, so we are just at the beginning, man. And, you know, one thing that Richard's mentioned, and even a lot of the, because Richard's he's a Bitcoin OG, but one of the things that people have always like aspired to have in crypto was like everyone would have a wallet with some crypto in it around the world, you know, and we never saw that with Bitcoin. We never saw that with all these other cryptocurrencies. But with what Staker app is doing, you know, can't talk about any of the stuff that's not public, but with what they're doing and with what we've already seen, it's going to blow people out the fucking water when it does finally, you know, everything. I've mentioned the analogies and I like them because they work so well for learning, but whether it's that snowball going downhill and just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, or a dam where there's just a little, you know, pinprick of a hole and a little bit of water streaming through, and then it just gets bigger and bigger with the pressure. Hex is going to have that moment, and you know, Ethereum had that moment, Bitcoin had that moment, things like that, and Hex is going to have that moment. You know, it's not a if, it's a when, in my opinion, and when it does, hold on to your freaking pants, your FOMO pants, you know.
There's actually a word for what you just described, actually, and it's called the streisand effect.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And basically, like when you try and hide something or censor it or like act like it doesn't exist, and you put it behind, you know, a kind of wall, the amount of force that's behind that wall that's just about to, like, when that wall breaks, it goes boom. So it's like a tidal wave. So you're absolutely right. When that dam finally breaks, and I have this weird feeling like Staker app's going to be amazing and that's going to be great and that will change the game. But when Hex takes number one and everyone's like, what the hell is going on right now? And we're just sitting there like, yeah, we knew this was coming. That I think that'll be the moment when like Twitter just explodes, crypto Twitter just explodes. And, you know, we start seeing Richard on TV, the interviews, the everything that comes after that. That's just, that's going to be a fun time for the Hexicans.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree. You know, Richard's, he's mentioned the same thing. I mean, right now, currently, according to Nomics.com, we're at a $4.5 billion dollar market cap. We're at number 13 in a market cap ranking. But to your point, I've heard the same thing from, like, I think Barbara Streisand, who is like the reason of that Streisand effect. But yeah, the same thing where it's like, you know, you tell a kid, hey, little kid, or, you know, son, whatever, you know, don't like get into the cookie jar, or like my parents used to always say this, like, yeah, don't touch that burner, or don't do this with the, you know, the lighter and stuff. And when they turn around, you know, you do what they said not to. And good to see you, Milo, as well. But it's so true that when people hear, like, most people in crypto, first off, Richard calls them like pseudo intellectuals. They think they know more than they actually do. It's a Dunning-Kruger effect. But they're in Bitcoin, or they're in whatever altcoin, whatever, you know, coin of choice, and they do go on to the coin ranking, the most popular coin ranking websites, and they don't do their own research to realize, oh, you know, CoinMarketCap, yeah, they're actually gatekeeping, and they're actually pushing down projects and products like Hex that are at a specific market cap. Like, that's just straight up, you know, not doing what their company and what their website is designed to do. It's designed to literally base each crypto off of market cap, and they're being deceiving. And when most people hear that, I know this happened a lot in 2020 when we were saying, when Hex was just climbing up the market cap ranks, and it went all the way up to top 5. But when we flipped the old Litecoin project that I was in, it was like, fuck you to all the
you just, like, as you're just rising up the charts.
It's cool, man. You know, to be able to stand in the face of adversity. When you know, one thing that Richard talks about is, like, he never loses a debate because he's got truth on his side, and he has updated his worldview. Like, part of being someone like Richard is admitting that you're fallible and that you're flawed, like, and that you know, you might have opinions that change throughout the years. Like, part of that is just all with learning and with being a human and growing. But, you know, those of us that have, you know, followed Richard's path, whether it was sooner or later, or we're just getting onto it now, a lot of us really realize that, hey, Richard kind of knows what the hell he's doing. Maybe instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. Maybe I should just see what he's doing. Because since 2017, since I followed him, if I had just listened to all of his calls, would have been so much better.
You could have put in some nice trades and done very well for yourself. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And he was the only one making those calls. So, I mean, just that alone should tell you something about, his depth of understanding in the actual markets. I don't think I've heard anyone else have a quotable like, yeah, I called the 20K Christmas, or yeah, I called the 3-year bear market, or the 3K bottom. No one else is saying that because none of them did it. And I think it's really good of Richard to, come out and say, like, I know where I suck. Like, these are my flaws. I prefer real and authentic over fake any goddamn day. Give me real. I don't care how rude you are. I don't care how salty you speak. Give me the real thing. And if I don't have the real thing, I want nothing to do with it. So that's really why I'm in Hex.
I completely agree. And last night, I need to go over last night's Discourse Syndicate again, because for anyone that doesn't know, there were a couple new Hexicans, and one of them had even been in. I feel bad for not knowing his name. Yeah, yourself was on there too for the first time, and
Chili Fly.
Yeah,
and
that's who it was, Chili Fly.
Yeah.
Yep. But they had mentioned, like, Chili Fly, I think it was specifically, had mentioned that that he always felt that he did have a good judgment of character, and same thing with myself. And to your point, like, so many people that like just click Richard's channel or tune into him for the first time, they might see him like bashing a troll or like kind of doing something like that and thinking he's like pompous or arrogant. But in my opinion, from my little experience here on this earth, I've always realized that sometimes there is that difference between like arrogance and like earned confidence. And Richard has, he retired since 2003, like since before Bitcoin was invented. And then when he found out in Bitcoin and was mining it in 2010 and 2011, like he did help create the $30 top or whatever it was. Like, he's just been around for such a long time. And those that still naysay him have no idea what the hell they're talking about. People
Absolutely.
like Michael Saylor, like, so many people are just like getting on their knees to give this guy credit. And it's like, dude, people like Richard Hart have, I mean, sure, you've been wrong before, but you're updating your worldview as you go. People like Michael Saylor that Richard's mentioned before were shit talking Bitcoin in 2013, saying it was going to do the same thing that online gambling did. And now, everyone that was naysaying Bitcoin is all of a sudden, just lining up to get on their knees because it's, tens of thousands and 30,000. Like, no, like the opportunity is where we're at right now with Hex. When you have gatekeeping, when you've got just things that are slowly breaking through. And I think people really see that, hey, maybe I should actually do my own research instead of listening to my favorite influencer shilling me these top shitcoins of the week,
I think as quickly as people can get away from these influences, the better. If you want a good education about the YouTube influencers and everything like that, go and watch the first part of that, like Trayvon James interview with CoffeeZilla that he did the other day, and he just exposes the whole thing.
Really?
That they're just paid shills, that they, and he even names a couple of people, so that like the name dropping, it gets a bit intense, but they're staples of the crypto community, and it's like, yeah, I mean, for the first year or two when you come into this space, you kind of rely on those people. You're new, you might not have ever invested before, you might have never been in a market before. You come in and you go, yeah, CoffeeZilla doesn't know shit, by the way. Just throwing that out there. But you look to these guys as kind of like guides in this space, and it's an illusion that you create for yourself. And when the illusion breaks and the mirror gets shattered and you're just left looking at all of the broken pieces on the ground, it's like, you didn't have my back and you weren't there for me and you didn't care. And the whole audience that gets built around these people, they're like they become wash cycled through. I mean, a lot of the people that were there in 2017 and looked at these guys and followed their advice are probably not there now because they got shitty advice and they got fucked over. And there's been times where I've looked on YouTube and gone, hey, someone's come out with a video and it's like, oh, the top 5 altcoins to 1000x in 2 months. It's like, yeah, let me give those a look. And I'll say, and it's like, no, you can't do that anymore. And even the ones that you think might be good, there seems to always be some kind of agenda behind everything. And like the real, that's, as I said before with Richard, give me the real thing. I don't care how rash and pompous and whatever you are. Give me the real thing, because everything else is just fake.
Well, and to your point, like, just look at these, like the current like influencers that exist in crypto. Honestly, a lot of it's just from 2017, just from and the people that didn't get wrecked, or the people that did get wrecked, they're still listening to them, like a Stockholm syndrome almost. But the thing is so many people like shill like, oh, do your own research and not financial advice, yet they're shilling their fucking Bybit link or their trading, margin trading link, BitMEX, and whatever trading platform that people use.
The scummiest shit.
And the thing that's so disgusting about it is, Richard mentioned it, and Richard, he's updated his worldview on trading, but he mentions that when those people, they're profiting from those referral links and from those affiliate links, is they're making profit on someone else's lot. Like that's how they get the money and the referral fees, is by, the house winning or the exchange winning. And then they just take 10% or 5% and give it as a referral bonus. And that's just absolutely disgusting. You are making money by leading sheep to the slaughter. And the thing that's the most fucking disgusting about this is those influencers know that shit. They do know that over 90% of people get wrecked. And they do know that someone's going to over leverage up and they're going to get absolutely slaughtered. And, the disgusting thing is, and I'm the same way. I watch all of Richard's old content, even still, like, it's just so entertaining.
Me too.
And it's so much more educational than anything else. But the thing that's disgusting about trading is not only are all these fallacies and movies like, oh, the Big Short, and I'm going to be the most effing badass trader. But so many people, like even one kid we talked about the other day, killed himself because Robinhood, they had a glitch and the kid was in debt, or the actual glitch itself had showed that he was like $500,000 in the red. And the long story short is this, is, don't be sold some fallacy and some lie that you're just going to become wealthy overnight, or you're just going to become some badass trader, because you're just going to get fed into the meat grinder like every other person that's wrecked. If you want to actually be able to earn interest trustlessly without counterparty, with zero middlemen, then you can go to Hex.com. You can go to Hex.com and exchange those shit coins for something that's clearly superior, that's clearly the better technology. Everything about Hex is just more better and more honest than anything else that exists. So when people do, naysay or show their ignorance by talking out of their ass, it's like, okay, like the army of Hexicans and piranhas and whatnot are going to come after your ass, because a lot of us did get wrecked, or a lot of us have learned from those influencers, and we know how full of shit they are, Absolutely.
It's a shame to see, that I think a lot of us identify with like the ideals that Richard espouses, where, the cypherpunk ideas of no middlemen, get rid of the banksters, get rid of all of that bullshit, because it doesn't help anything. It doesn't have a net positive effect for the world. So it's especially, just strange to see the people in cryptocurrency not understand the principles and the tenets of what this is meant to be. This is meant to be world-changing, life-saving, life-extending technology for everyone. Not for some people, not for the elites, for everyone. And until we get back to that idea of like, what crypto is meant to be, we're going to see a lot more of these promise coins, these shit coins, the influencers, running people over a cliff. I got in this space because I'm passionate about trying to change the world, and to see, the community that is really, we're meant to be doing that. We're meant to be changing the world. Like, don't get tied up with these centralized exchanges. They're bullshit. I mean, you brought up the point earlier about CoinMarketCap and how it lists Hex and how we put Hex on the map. Like, CoinMarketCap used to be the number one place that you could go and check your prices and your market cap and your data and all that kind of stuff. And thankfully now there are better companies and services out there to do that. But that's part of it, It's like a centralized exchange has got its fingers in the pie of these things, and it controls it from the inside out without you ever really seeing that. Like, well, where, I don't use CoinMarketCap, but where is it on CoinMarketCap that it's owned by Binance? Can you see that on CoinMarketCap anywhere? It's one of those little sneaky things where it's like, you're a centralized entity and you don't like DeFi and you don't like what is trying to happen here. And because of that, and it's strange because they've listed some DeFi things where you go, what the fuck were you thinking listing like hot dog coin or like the name itself should be enough to tell you to not invest. But they go and do that stuff. It's like they just want to make money and they don't care who they hurt or whose lives they damaged. And it's like, I'll spend the rest of my time in crypto working against that bullshit. I hate that shit.
Same here, man. And that's, we saw in less than 1 year Hex become top 5. And one quote that I love just listening to Richard and, things like that. But one quote that I had to write down as you were talking, because I didn't want to forget about it, but it's just so freaking profound, is Richard's mentioned this a lot too, but the quote is, "Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends?" And that's exactly almost like the epitome of Hex. You had people like Joe Hexotic had him on, Ken Bozak. But I remember back in the day when he was shit talking Hex, and I was just like, fuck this guy, I'm gonna block him.
That was only like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah. And here's the thing that I'm like slowly learning, even though it's so hard not to have that Hexican piranha to shred him to death, is that Ken mentioned in Joe Hexotic's show and stream with him that it was actually Nerd Girl. That if you're familiar, Nerd Girl, it's NRDGRL007 on Twitter. She was actually the one that kind of chipped away slowly but surely at Ken and helped him like really see what the light was, because Ken mentioned it, that like when he was shit talking and when he was crap talking Hex and when he was talking bad about Richard, he was just kind of like following his his gang of friends and his clique. It was just a cool thing to do. But people like Richard, he's always spoken like truth, and he's always kind of shined like a light on the people that are dishonest, and he shines a light on that trading. And even nowadays with Hex and with all of the things that Richard's done, you can't donate to him. Like you can't he doesn't have an ETH address on Hex.com. There's nowhere you can send money. And the cool thing, I was watching another clip the other day from Richard, and people were saying like, Richard, you made me so much money. I'm so grateful. What can I do to get back? And he was just saying like, just live a good life, just, read Sci-Vive, try to be as healthy as possible and provide as much value in the world as possible, like he's doing. But it's just so cool to see someone so selfless create something that is literally changing the world and has already made many hundreds of millionaires, and it's going to continue doing the same thing. Many of us watching the stream today, on the comment section today, are going to be future millionaires if we're not already. It's so cool, man.
It's really cool. And I think that, after like a year of hate and a year of having everyone point the finger at us and be like, you guys are scammers, you guys are bots, you're all fake, you're all paid shills by Richard. We've got to learn to not get so defensive and we've got to learn to be more opening and welcome to all of the new people that are going to be coming into Hex. Because, you know, going with that, like, as cool as the piranha attitude is, you know, we're just a swarm of Hexicans bearing down on a hater. It's an awesome sight to see, for sure. But, you know, if we want these people in our community over the next 10 to 15 years, we got to start being a bit more humble about stuff and a bit more loving and open and welcoming to people, because we want people's lives to change. I don't care, you know, if you've shit talked Hex or that you've done whatever, you're in another coin, you promote another, like, I don't care. If you're here, you're part of the family, you know, like, and we've got to start widening the doors for that to happen.
Oh yeah, exactly. And sorry, I kind of got distracted for a second.
No, you're
One
good.
of the comments, but it's, you know, it's so cool, man, and it really says a lot. I mean, people like Richard, you know, similar just to a lot of successful people just throughout history and throughout world history. But you know, you have a majority saying like, who the hell is this person, thinking that they're all hot shit and that they've got all this truth and whatnot. And then when people actually stop listening to propaganda and when they start doing their own research, they realize, oh wait, this guy that everyone's saying is wrong is actually right, and it's actually everyone else that's just like, you know, following the herd and whatnot and not doing their own research and not doing their own due diligence that are being led to the slaughter. Like, oh, your crypto that you're holding does have inflation bugs that have been exposed in the past, or whatever sort of, you know, XYZ flaw that you can mention. The cool thing about Hex is, even with people like Ken Bozak and or just some of the people that we've even seen in the past, you know, I do agree that it is. It's also like circumstantial, like based on the circumstance and how aggressive, you know, kind of like matching, you know, fighting fire with fire. But it's Dollar Cost has mentioned that it's so much better to do the honey versus vinegar route, and it takes all of the patience and all of that, you know, in my heart and soul, not to just lash out. But you have to realize, hey, you know, the people in their circle of influence or people that they're listening to every day, they're feeding them improper information. And the more that we can set good examples and lead, then the more you can kind of just ignore that negative talk, and just all of a sudden people start flocking to you because they do see Hex was the top performing asset. And Richard posts it all the time. Yeah, it's okay, Joe. It's all good. I've seen Milo in the chat room. He's fine. It's okay. But you know, I've seen so many times where Richard posts the coin trader pro chart, where it's like, you know, all the shitcoin, or, you know, all the cryptos that aren't Hex, you know, Bitcoin's in the bottom third, Chainlink, Celsius, all of this stuff, you know, all these cryptos that are like, you know, DeFi or like popular. And then those are like just right here. And then Hex is, you know, like it's off the screen. You know, Richard's mentioned that in the future, when, because it's inevitable, it's just a matter of time that things around the world start opening up again. But we're going to have conferences in the future. You know, Maddie Allin or Maddie Allen, you can go to allmylinks.com/allin to find more of him. But he was the first person to do the Hex conference. But in the future, we're going to have in-person conferences. And Richard mentioned that he's going to have in the future like a price chart shirt where it's like, hey, here's all your guys' cryptos, and then yeah, we're gonna have to do a shoulder holster. And I just thought that was so great, dude.
That's the greatest idea. Like a pop-out shirt where you just click, click. I love that. That's great. And you know, just to touch on that point again, I feel like everyone, I don't know whether it's just the trend nowadays or not, but I feel like everyone is a self-proclaimed expert. You know, you will encounter people on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, and they'll be like, oh, you know, the tether FUD and Bitcoin's going to crash down to $4,000 again. It's like, man, you've been here 2 minutes. We've had 6 years of tether FUD, you know, like,
right.
Like, zoom out, pan out, be here for a while and learn before you start listening to other people and their you know, anyone who's got a really decided opinion and it's set in stone, give it another 5 years. Let's see how set in stone those opinions are in 5 years' time. It's not going to be the same thing. So and I think we probably should try to encourage this as Hexicans, is to like break and put out that message of don't listen to people. Follow your intuition. Follow your research down the rabbit hole. Make your own decision about things, because following someone else is just going to get you the results that gave that person, you know, their leg up or whatever. But if you try and create your own path out of things, no one's ever walked that before. You get to do it for yourself, and who knows where that could lead. But if you're following others, you're already behind because you're not doing the work for yourself. The minute that you take on that responsibility of like, I'm going to go research this, I'm going to go watch Richard's videos, I'm going to go and be a part of the Twitter and the Telegram and the community, so I know, not so that someone else has told me, so that I know for myself what this is. Don't listen to people. Unless they have your best intentions, and it's really hard to know when people have your best intentions in mind. I think it goes back to that thing of like being able to read and judge a character. Mm-hmm. If you can tell that someone's legit and genuine from the energy that they give out and the truth that they're speaking, go for that if you can any day over these, you know, these paid influencers and these shills that are, you know, 5 coins. It's like, whose opinion is that? Just a random dude on the internet that I've never met before, that I'll never meet in real life, and I'm meant to take his advice on this? It's disempowering. And it basically says, I'm not taking this responsibility on for myself. And we all need to do that. We're all making decisions about our futures and our retirement and our finances. This is important stuff. Right. It's not something that you should just give away to people. And we need to say that, you know.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's so true. I mean, Richard mentions a lot, and I've felt this way in the past too, where it's like, dude, we're being asked a liquidity question. We're being asked, you know, the same question over and over and over again. But a lot of those people, they are asking it out of genuinity, and they are just like, you know, sincerely curious. And you know, to the point that you mentioned that I completely agree with is, no matter if it's me, if it's RG3, if it's Hexologist, Richard Hart, or if it's any one of like your, you know, influencers that we don't recommend, but you still may listen to, is don't trust the information that they're telling you. Verify it. Always, yes. always verify that. Because to your point, most people, they don't have your best intentions in mind. And, you know, you might see top 5 coins of the week, and then guess what? The thing that I always ask myself, and even from like a psychological standpoint, is why is this person doing this? And what does this person have to benefit or behoove of it? Are they just shilling their ref link and their trading link, or are they actually genuinely curious in you earning interest trustlessly and not getting wrecked and actually keeping your private keys, which is everything that crypto is about? So it's so true. And anyways, it's just so cool that we can be those leaders by example. And like I said, a lot of us have been wrecked in the past and have been screwed over in the past. And it's cool that we can say, hey, I was just like you, or, you know, hey, I've had all these experiences too, but I've learned from it, and I've, you know, done successfully doing this and listening to this, and so can you, you know?
And, you know, there's a really good, I don't know if you know the comedian Bill Hicks, but he was a very controversial comedian, and he just spoke his mind and spoke the truth. A lot like George Carlin or someone like that. And, you know, he has this bit where he's up on stage and he's like, you know, the reason that I can say these things and the reason that, you know, these things land is because I have the truth on my side. If I was saying this stuff and I didn't have the truth on my side, you would know. And that's very true. Is like, try and find, and, you know, it's hard without knowing someone in person and knowing their real intentions. But if you can look at someone like Richard, or, you know, RG3 or a Hexologist, and they're great examples. Someone like Hexo streams every day, is committed as fuck. That dude is a fucking warrior.
He is.
And, you know, you see his commitment, you see his passion, and it is something that exists over a long period of time. Now, you can't fake that. You can't. There's nothing that you can do to fake that kind of thing. And, you know, you look at Richard and you go, okay, has he made good calls in the past? Absolutely. Has he said the right things about Hex? Absolutely. So he has a track record. These guys have a great track record. That is the thing that you should be, you know, aiming your attention at. It's like, I want to look up to people and I want to follow people that are successful and that I've proved that they're successful. Not just this like, oh, fake illusion of I've got the Lambo on rent and the giant pad and all that. Like, nah. I need to know your track record and history. And if you've been speaking the truth, that I can follow that truth. And I think a lot of the Hexicans, we crave that kind of thing. We want the real thing. We want the authenticity. We want the truth. And, you know, we all refer to the Hex system as the truth engine. There's nothing like that in crypto. That it like this thing is based on truth. It's pretty mind blowing that you can code, you know, a piece of technology to have that built in it. Like that, I've never seen anything like that before, and it's almost like it's alive and it's got a mind of its own. It's pretty crazy.
Well, it's so true too, and the really cool thing, I mean, Hex and Bitcoin have Hex is more similar to Bitcoin than it is a CD. Richard's mentioned that many times, but Hex is really cool because similar to Hex.com, since it is smart contract and since it doesn't have admin keys and all these other things, it's been audited, it's been verified. It can't be turned off. Like it literally can never be turned off. You know, someone could go to the creator of Uniswap or of Hex and literally can't do anything about it. And so, to your point, it is similar to like a breathing entity, and it is just like growing and growing. And as we have more Hexicans, you know, yourself, myself, a lot of people that are OGs that maybe if you weren't before, you know, I invite you and I implore you to come on stream now and kind of lead by example. I mean, one of the things Richard's mentioned it many times, but he'll keep saying it, is the best thing that you can do for Hex and the best thing that Hex can have is more adoption and is more, you know, just getting it into the hands of people. You know, like just like I mentioned with some of like my family members or friends, they might not have known, and they still might not, but they might not have known, or they might not know the power of Hex, but that didn't let me stop them from missing out on the opportunity. You know, I kind of knew what the opportunity was, and I said, hey, if you don't want to invest in, that's fine. Like I've got a side bag for you in your own wallet. You've got all the control of it. But the more that we, you know, lead by example with our friends, with other communities, with the naysayers, the more people realize like, oh, I've been talking bad about this thing the whole time, and all, like, maybe sometimes you won't have this, maybe you'll get aggressed at, but a lot of us are patient enough to educate people and to dispute the FUD. And just the more that we have that, the more good examples and the more honey over vinegar that we have, the more we can really kind of just keep that snowball effect going on. I mean, Lazor, just to give this person a shout out, and I'll get, you know, kind of, we'll interact with the chat in just a few minutes too. But Lazor mentioned, they were mentioning even on Big Pep Stream today that they have onboarded a lot of people, and people like Bitfinesse have mentioned too that like the problem with Hex is it's too good.
People seem to understand it that have never had exposure to crypto or anything like that just as easily as any kind of banking CD. And that, like, pick a crypto and pick one that you can explain properly to someone that's, oh, it's going to be artificial technology interface with this thing, and it's like, like, no, like, who understands that? Not a lot of people, but you can really understand something and it's so complex. Hex is so complex at the same time that it's as simple as you would like it to be. And there's a really great quote. I'm not sure who it's by, but it basically just goes, you know, it's really easy to make something complex. You can just add layers in and layers in and layers in and layers in, but it's really hard to make something simple. Extremely hard to make something just simple and straightforward that people understand while maintaining that complexity. And that's Hex in a nutshell. I've never seen anything that's so easy to, spruik to someone that they can grok it and understand it and go, yeah, I'm on board with that in about the space of 5 minutes. That's unheard of in crypto so far. I mean, even Bitcoin, it's like, oh, you've got to talk about gold and the narrative around store of value and all of this stuff. It's like that a lot of people aren't paying attention to gold and they just don't care about inflation or they don't understand those things. So it really becomes this like, what is the easiest and simplest way that I can communicate this to people? And Hex already is working for you doing that. You don't have to do a lot of work on your own. So, I mean, I love those guys in the community. Bitfinesse, you're one of my favorites, man. Same for you, Bran. But, Bitfinesse, Lazar, these guys who are just like on board, they're just monsters. I think that's fantastic. The amount of community outreach here is just nuts. And then, you've got those people. You'll help them for the next couple of years. You'll form friendships. You'll form relationships. Who knows where those opportunities could take you or how that could change your life. So there's just these bleed-on effects from all of the amazing simplicity of Hex that people underestimate. People underestimate that kind of the network effect.
It's so true. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, I shouldn't even say what, but there is no other community that has the community that Hex has. I mean, for one example, for anyone that's not aware, just some backstory. So myself and Hex Mac had wanted to do a stream today, but then when we were kind of like yesterday, when I was trying to coordinate a time with him, we're like, okay, how do we not step on the other people that stream? How do we not step on their toes? And so to kind of give an example is if I go to hexlive.tv, this is a website that Joe has created, Joe Hexotic. So it's in Eastern Standard Time. So for the time zone that I'm in, it's just -3 hours. But it was really cool that, because I was wondering like, shit, dude, tomorrow it's going to be Kareem or tonight's the trivia and all these things. And like, it's just super cool that people in the community, you might be like seeing a problem that needs to be addressed. Oh, well, we have an address now. Like you can go to hexlive.tv, and if you're a content creator or if you've got something that you're posting that's Hex related and trustworthy and whatnot, Joe might most likely add you to it. But it's so cool. This is just one example, is the hexlive.tv that we were able to yesterday go to. But then we've got people like Steph and people like Firebun. I mean, Steph created Hex.live, and you can still plug in your address there and check your stakes. But people like Steph, people like Firebun, and now they're doing Staker app. It's so cool, man. Like that's the other thing too, is like Richard's not paying them. He's not paying Joe to do this or any of us streamers to do any of this. This is all out of the givingness of ourselves and whatnot, knowing that not only are we benefiting the crypto and our own backs and all of this stuff, but we're spreading that wealth of knowledge to people and allowing that opportunity to seep into every other community.
And I've never met a more giving community than the Hexican community. I mean, just from our stories, one of the first places that we go to try and help people is our own family. Mm-hmm. So you hit your own circle of influence first. You hit your family, you hit your friends, and then you hit anyone, that bleeds on from outside that effect, and to try and get as many people in as possible. But also because you want to change their lives. You want to help them. You want to grow with them. And I've never seen that in crypto. Literally never seen that in crypto. We have people in the community like SkiCat, like Joe Exotic, like Maddie. These guys are, pulling together donations. They're making content for the community. SkiCat's just a fucking boss. Like 10 million Hex or something like that he's given away. Yeah. That's crazy. You don't get that anywhere else. And we mentioned Ken earlier. Ken's part of our community now because of that, because Nerd Girl chipped away for so long, but then Ski Cat came in with a hot donation as well. And, then Ken puts out a video that was emotional. That was like, watching that was really like, and even someone like Crypty, where you see it within a couple of minutes, they're bawling their eyes out. It's life changing. What Bitcoin OGs are doing that? None of them. They can't even put together money for a Bitcoin audit.
Right.
Like, we're still like, some of us are still at the point where, I've done very well in Hex in the first year. I've made well above 6 figures in the first year. And, a lot of these Bitcoin OGs are fucking millionaires, hundreds of millions of dollars. They can't even put in 50 grand for an audit. It's greed. There is so much greed in this space.
Right.
That to come into a community where it's like, we're going to grab you and we're going to lift you up and we're going to put you into the community and you're going to have a home here. There's nothing like that. And it's not because of Hex itself. It's because of the people that it attracted. It attracted good people. All of the people here in Hex, all of the Hexicans, they're my people. They're the people that, I look at and I go, man, this guy's so intelligent. He knows all this stuff about this. If I just am around him for a little while, I'm going to learn so much. And, you've got people like Maddie, who's a professional, mental health expert in the space that you can go and talk to and rely upon if you feel like that you need that. Or, someone like Joe, who does his recovery show and is kind of showcasing the members of the community. This is something different. This is something that's never been seen in crypto before. Like, actual community, actual, real, genuine, loving community. And you don't see that in the world anywhere. Anywhere. And it's so refreshing to know that, like, you're not alone in the views that you share, that you have people that you can make lifelong friends with. That's really what's the valuable part about this. Hex, it will change all of our lives. But the reason that I, come on stream and I get up and I get on Twitter and I promote and I do things is because I fucking love you all. Like, literally, that's it. And I wouldn't do it otherwise. If I didn't love you guys, I wouldn't be here right now. It's important.
Well, in a lot of us, clearly yourself from our conversations that we've had, online and even from what I've seen offline as well. But a lot of us do, one thing Richard mentioned is, like, when you do have enough money to, cover all of your expenses and whatnot, like, what else is there to do? Like, people, I don't know, like, you don't need as much as you may think. And as far as the actual, like, giving back or even just making the world better. Like, if you've got kids, making the world better for your future or for your kids' future or your legacy, things like that. Like, to your point, it's so cool that in the Hex community, a lot of us, even for people that are just getting in today, like, oh, this person's just getting in. Let's help them get set up. Let's show them the community. Let's answer any questions that they have. Like, it's just really cool that the way that all of this has worked out, because we've all been through highs and lows. It's always like a cycle up and down. But Hex itself is, because of the way that it was designed, because of all of its features, it speaks for itself. Like, I've done a handful of sales jobs in the past, and one of the jobs that I got fired from because the product was so shitty I didn't believe in it was because I didn't believe in it. My dad always kind of like taught me that, like, hey, especially when it comes to like sales and whatnot, like, if you've got something that you can get behind, then you actually feel genuine getting someone into it. And if it actually does improve their quality of life and things like this. And one thing Richard mentioned a lot is, how do you solve the world's problems and things like this? Well, most people don't even have their money problem solved. So you need to solve the money problem first, which is kind of what Hex has given a lot of us and continues to. Not saying that we're all there, but we're all getting there collectively. But once it does solve, your money problems enough to the point where you feel sustainable and comfortable, you can, like, a lot of us have been volunteering our own time in other people's streams, modding, or let me jump on your stream and help you out. This person's just streaming solo. Let me help them out. Let me, contribute in the chat. Like, it's just, there's so many people in this community that are just so genuine. I've literally never seen it anywhere, man. Like, I grew up, my parents would take us to church a lot, and you would see people putting on a front, but then behind closed doors would be a whole nother thing, right? And the cool thing about Hexicans, man, is the front that we're putting on is not a front. It's just us. It's genuine. It's not fake. It's not this bullshit. So many people, they and even a lot of people I know, they would see Richard initially and see the Swarovski crystals or the name brand and this and that, and
Candelabra.
the candelabra, exactly, and they would just judge on that. But it's like, no, dude, this person, he's just socially signaling to kind of like get your attention. But then once he's got your attention, like, he's just providing value the whole freaking time, and it's just crazy how many do. It's disgusting. It's disgusting how many people do try and shield that information. Like, they're trying to shield people from Hex, from Richard Hart. There's a reason that CoinMarketCap, there's a reason that they gatekeep Hex, because they don't make any freaking money off it. Richard is not going, or no one is going to, pay them for advertising space because of their, disgusting behaviors. Like, Hex speaks for itself, and it doesn't need to get on Coinbase. It doesn't need to pay for ads. It is what it is, and it's a good enough product that those companies and those corporations would have already made money by just listing it anyways. And
staking it for the last year, they would have made so much goddamn money. I remember one of those live streams. I can't remember if it was the Hex conference or not, but like Richard said, these big exchanges, they better get their act together quickly, because if they don't act quickly, they're going to miss out on Hex and all of the gains that come from listing Hex and holding Hex and having Hex. And then it's going to be like $5, and then they're going to have to buy in. And that's going to be a beautiful day in my eyes. Like, sure, would I like Hex to be on Coinbase? Absolutely. Do we need it on there? Absolutely not. It's just good for more press and advertising, sure, but we don't need them to succeed. They need someone like us to succeed. And that's a real power flip. That dynamic, that, like, you guys need us. We don't need you. That's huge. And, just even someone like Richard, like, his streams, I've always found that, especially from being in crypto for the last 4 or 5 years, there's nowhere to go to get genuine, legit information. And he is genius level IQ. He gives away all of this information for free to better your life. Doesn't better his life. He's already got an amazing life. He's already a millionaire. But as you said, like, when you've made that money and when you've got enough money, it's the next job is to help other people. And he gives away so much knowledge for free. He could write books. He could do a paid course on YouTube. He could do all of that stuff to just be in the presence of someone that has that level of knowledge and understanding about not only, Hex and Bitcoin and Ethereum, but the markets in general, marketing in general, everything. It's so valuable. Follow those people. Follow those people who he's not charging for that. He's not trying to make money off you. He doesn't have an ETH address that you can donate to. He doesn't care about your money in the sense of, he doesn't care how much you have or who you are. He cares if you're real and legit and you believe in Hex. And if you do all of those things, and if you can, take some of the knowledge that he's giving away for free, your life will change dramatically as a result of it. And you don't, like, all of these influences that are out there, and I don't mean crypto anymore. I mean, like, a Gary Vee or a Grant Cardone or, any of these guys. They'll give it away, but you're going to have to go and pay thousands of dollars to get that information. The Tony Robbins, that kind of thing had its time and place, And I think that's going to go away in the next decade or two. And Richard has really led that innovation as well.
I agree.
We're very lucky to be around Richard.
It's so true. And Richard's mentioned the same thing too. I mean, when he retired in 2003 before Bitcoin, he was, he mentioned it himself. He was just fucking off traveling the world for 10 years, playing video games and doing all these other things. But the cool thing is like, even just look at, people, Gary Vee or all these other people that are doing courses or, charging you for this conference, that conference. People like Richard, he wrote SciVive X amount of years ago, and I downloaded it when he had the SciVive channel. He still does, but then, the other day I was kind of like thanking him, and he's like, here, obviously don't share this to one, and I never have, but he gave me the published version for free. And it's like, dude, he's just constantly giving. And even when it comes
that was all
down
that Christmas present from Richard on Telegram. We all got SciVive. It's amazing.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I missed that part, but yeah, no, it's so cool. I mean, even look at, what Hex has done. The Bitcoin community itself was slandering, crap talking the whole time. And Richard allowed that free claim for the Bitcoin holders. And it's super cool because even the people that I knew from other crypto communities, I was like, hey, dude, I know you've had Bitcoin and, you know how to hold your keys. You should claim Hex. And a lot of them, they didn't, or they claimed late. And, I had one guy saying like, yeah, I claimed, but, it's bullshit that it's locked for X amount of days, or it's BS that my actual claim is less because I claimed late. And just everything about Hex, not only with the way that it's designed, but it's just really cool, man. It rewards those that do what they say they're going to do. And in general, like it doesn't really take that much money. If you've got something like Bitcoin, or you have something like possibly Hex, that like with Bitcoin, the 4 million X, like if you would have just held $1 for X amount of years, it'd be 4 million. Like, and that's just $1. Like, just imagine the amount of wealth that is just going to come into Hex. And like, it doesn't take much money to, keep the things pumping. And it's just, everything about it is literally like the perfect opportunity. You've got Ethereum, which could very well flip Bitcoin this market cycle. And I think it really will, because Bitcoin is just, it's less better. When you have something that's a free market competition and you've got all these other things, then eventually, no matter how much people do try to gatekeep something, eventually people do. It's like Richard mentions this analogy, like if your girlfriend's hanging out with supermodels, she's going to go date the supermodel. Like, it's like, I don't know. People really see that Richard is genuine, that we are all genuine. And then they see Hex and it's like, oh, it's the highest appreciating asset of 2020. And that's just of 2020, not to mention the actual like interest you're earning on top of it. Just everything is perfect.
He's really done something that's very unique and special here. I hope that this cycle, and it is inevitable that ETH flips Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's going to live on ETH one day. If people haven't already registered and realized that, register and realize that. It's going to be wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum. Lightning Network, I don't think will ever take off, but Bitcoin will live on Ethereum one day.
So true.
But it'll find its place like gold has found its place. It's not going to be number one forever. And probably in the next 5 to 10 years, it'll be number 2 or 3. And, it'll just continue to live like that probably for a long time until, another store of value like Bitcoin comes along. But these guys who are, it's weird because Bitcoin's been around since 2011, but the understanding that hit the masses is only happening now. And that's a decade.
Yeah.
Last cycle, it really popped onto the scene and was like, okay, Bitcoin's at 20K, and everyone kind of got, a bit antsy about it or a bit hyped about it. And now it's like, this thing isn't going anywhere. And when the average person on the street starts talking to you about Bitcoin, like, the fuck is going on? Like, this is too much. But it's taken 10 years for people to realize that Bitcoin has a place in the market. and it's going to stay in the market. How long do you think it's going to take for people to realize Hex? We're so early. We're so early. 5 years before. But no, like my moon boy math goes like $1 in the next 2 years. That flips Bitcoin. That flips Ethereum. That makes us number one. It's going to happen quicker than we think. And, you know, like this new DeFi thing where you don't have to be, you know, caught in between two middlemen and all of that kind of, like, it is groundbreaking. It's going to be fun.
Agreed, man. And it's just the beginning, you know, those of us, even with small amounts of principal and small amounts of capital, have seen significant gains. The other day I had Nardo on again for a second time, and he was telling me that, you know, obviously Hex has had, we're not at the all-time high right now, but when, long story short, is he paid 1 penny for a stake. That was, the principal was 1 penny. And that thing, from all of its appreciation and all of that, the interest at its high was at like $6 and like 40 cents or something. That he was telling me, and it's like, it really is just a patience game. Like, you know, the with Hex, the longer pays better. You know, every single year that you stake all the way up to 10 years, you're getting 20% more shares. And so that becomes really appealing to people that might not have as much, you know, financial capital to put into it. And it's just super cool because I've never been like the super popular kid. And I've always been the person to just like seek out truth. And like, you know, I can, even if the person is like negative and whatnot, I've always been able to try and like learn, you know, lessons from them and whatnot. And with crypto, and with Hex specifically, it's giving us a lot of that opportunity to become more wealthy than we could have ever imagined. But the thing that I also like about that is I'll tell people and my friends and people like, yeah, dude, I've got stakes that, you know, I've got some stakes that are ending next year. I've got stakes that are ending 15.2 years from now. And they hear that and they say, dude, this guy's loony. Where's the tinfoil hat? You know, it's like, no, dude, if you'd understand what I'm understanding and see what we're seeing and notice the trends, then you probably would have done the same thing too. And it's just cool to be on team win and being on the right side of history.
And you know, you can, when you say that to people, and you can say, hey, I'm locked up for 15.2 years, or, you know, and that's at the max. You're obviously got, you know, your staking matter out for the 15 years as well. But you can say to people like, look, if you had bought Bitcoin at $1 and you had locked it up for 10 years until today, you would be a very happy person. Now, that also saves you from yourself. It saves you from being able to sell it or panic sell, or, you know, whatever you do. To be able to say to someone, hey, look, I can take $500 here, 500, and we can put in a stake and we can ladder some stuff out, and, you know, we lock it away for 10 years. It's $500. Go and make another $500 in a week. It's not a big deal. But in 10 years, that $500 could be retirement. It could be financial independence and complete financial freedom. So when people say, oh, you know, I've missed the boat, or I don't feel like even if we just get to $5, you know, like it levels out at like $5, $10, that's a 500x from here. It's more than a 500x from here. It's probably like a 600x from here. How many other coins can you see out in the market now that would offer that same kind of return? So you're going to get the, you know, if it gets to $5, 5 or 600 return, and then 40% APY for 10 years. I mean, how does anything compete with that? You can't. It's a beautiful thing.
It's so true. And I was telling a coworker, they're like, they were kind of asking me about like Doge pumping back then, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm not in Doge. Like, I'm not on Robinhood. Like, I hold my own, you know, keys with a hardware wallet that's offline, and also I'm earning a 40% APY. And he's like, 40% APY, and instantly, like, some people just like the horse to water type thing, you know, you can't. And but anyways, the second he heard 40% APY, like, that light bulb clicked. And all of a sudden those 20 steps or 10 or however many steps it takes to become a Hexican and staked, all of a sudden that doesn't seem so daunting. Like that interest, people, especially that are a little bit older that have seen, interest rates and things like that, they realize that you can't get that shit anywhere else. And even in crypto, we see like centralized finance and, just give your private keys to this corporation, similar to Cred back in the day that already went bankrupt and went down. Just give them your private keys and, everything will be okay. You just earn a little bit of interest. When in reality, it's like, no, dude, you're doing everything that's the opposite of what crypto was intended to do. So those of us that are leading by example, that are holding on to our keys and stuff like this, we're just going to continue just being on the right side of history and being on team win. I mean, even when Hex wasn't out, I always remember Richard saying, get your goddamn keys in crypto into your own hands and, off of the exchanges. And even on one exchange, like back in the day, I was just trading shit coins on Cryptopia and, had like $400 or $500 worth of like Ethereum or Bitcoin, just get completely swept away. And I don't know, man, it's really cool there's the technology itself. And then there's like using it to its full potential. And right now, we're taking the crypto technology and all of this stuff, and even with Hex, and we're using it to its full potential. And it's just crazy. Like all these other different, people in the ecosystem, like they're not even really worth paying attention to. Like we're just, Hex is, it is already doing the coin burning that Ethereum wants to do, the EIP 1559. It is hard locking your Hex like Ethereum 2.0 is trying to do with the staking. And it's doing everything better. And it was the precedent. It was the leader to show everybody what crypto was supposed to be, unlike what Bitcoin tried to do, but couldn't do.
And I think it's important, we've had 4 or 5 years worth of experience in this industry. To, if you've got family out there, if you've got friends out there, go and be a mentor to them. Not in the sense of like, you're going to pay me or we're going to do this all day, every day, but like take them through everything. Teach them how to set up a wallet and do a MetaMask and all that stuff. This is valuable information. And the quicker that those people get on board with crypto, the quicker that they can change their lives. It's really important in this space, I think, to lead by example, as we've talked about pretty much all stream, because there is so much scamminess and there is so many just bad projects out there, and it's a minefield in crypto. It really is the Wild West in a lot of ways. Not regulated, just cowboys and Indians, and it's just pretty nuts a lot of the time. I think someone like Richard, he is a mentor in a lot of ways to a lot of us. He's an older for the younger guys. Some guys, other guys are, his peers and things like that in the community. But, he's an older guy. He's successful. He's been a serial success for a long time. And really what he's doing is he's creating this new class of crypto people. Well, I won't say influence, but because we're not really. I mean, we are, and I would like to move away from that influencing thing.
Right,
as we've said, truth, authenticity, and realness. I mean, you've got to figure that stuff out for yourself. We can't just be like, trust this person. You've got to figure that out for yourself. So that element of like, breeding this new kind of wave of crypto people to look up to really like hold the values of the cypherpunk mentality and no middleman and fuck the banks and speaking truth to power and all that. He's creating a whole class of people just like him, just like people that went out and the amount of influence over the next decade that we're going to be able to help people and literally change the world. Since I've been in Hex, you're inside the system. You're inside of Hex if you're, a participant in the system. And so trying to figure out the system from inside is hard. And we've been here for, a year and 2 or 3 months. And the amount that we've learned in that time, the T shares, the longer, the share rate, everything like that, we can condense all that down into a nice little package and give it to someone now and go, what took us 8 months, what took us 12 months to wrap our heads around, really, for a lot of us, it took a long time to figure that stuff out. We can condense it down. We can give it to you in a little package. We can say, here's the best way to maximize your returns and gains and do all that stuff and be a positive influence and be that person that, like, I don't care who you are. If you've got an open mind and you want to get into this, I'll help you. Reach out to me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all these things. I run the Facebook group for the Hexicans.
Nice,
Come and play. Come reach out. Come interact with the community and figure it out for yourself. Because I don't want to see in a year or two's time all of these people that have missed the boat just because they got told the wrong narrative about Hex. It's disingenuous, and there's plenty of room on the pirate ship for all you degens as well. Come aboard, like.
Hey, speaking of which. So I know Hexologist, he's going to stream around 3:45. I don't know if you want to, but if you want, we can do like a couple minute intermission while I just pee real quick. But if you want, we can get a couple other Hexicans that I can play the intermission. We can maybe see if any other Hexicans want to join. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, in that case, for anyone, what I'm going to do is just going to have Corey's new song. We're going to have that going real quick. And in a couple of minutes, I'll be back, and whoever wants to join can. What I'm going to do right now before the actual intermission starts, it's just going to be a few minutes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes at most. But I'm going to put the invite link to StreamYard on.
Joe's going to come on.
Oh, okay, cool, perfect, awesome. Well, in that case, without further ado, let me play that intermission. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Alright. What's up, everyone? It's Corey and Investor again. And I just want to talk a bit about myself and investing. I've been through a lot. Been educated along the way. And I just want to inspire a little bit through the music, educate, onboard people into crypto, period. Now, without being financial advice, I believe Hex, Bitcoin, Ethereum should be on your watch list for the next 5 years. And with that being said, let's talk about the highest appreciating asset class today. It's crypto, not stocks and bonds. Boy, this ain't for play. My word plays to educate the children around my way, so they can get out the hood. No, I don't want to stay. Education's critical in my life, pivotal. Could have been in jail or dead. Yeah, it's just that simple. But back to investing. Here, take some notes. Never go all in like jumping off a boat. Dollar cost averaging. Google that term, so you can keep your shirt on, so you don't get burned. Now there's a risk to all investments. This you should know. You can take yearly profits and get ready to blow. In 5 years, 10 years, 15 years you hold. You can live off the interest. That's the part that gets sold. You'll reinvest your capital, or the principal in this case. I'm feeding your brain cells. I said the Hexicans are loyal with the gang. You disrespect our clique, bang. Haters keep talking. This about assets and interest, economical slang. I said the Hexicans are loyal with the gang. You disrespect our clique, bang. Haters keep talking. This about assets and interest, economical slang. Now remember that Bitcoin was a penny a share. Well, Hex is now the same price that has made millionaires. This ain't financial advice, so let's be clear. But Hex did go up when the market was there. Now Hex is like a CD, you get paid per shares. You can swap your value through Uniswap, use the Hex East pair. Don't forget to pay your taxes, cause it's only fair. They got Wire, Coinbase, Cash App, oh yeah. I said the Hexicans are loyal with the gang. You disrespect our clique, bang. Haters keep talking. This about assets and interest, economical slang. Now it's time to shout out some of the people within Hex. Others helped me in my crypto journey, so I didn't get wrecked. So I'll start from the top. Okay, let me see. There's Richard Hart, hexologist, Big Pepper RG3. Got Hodl Dog, Dev Kyle, Crypto Coffee, Silver and Maddie, can't forget the cat Desky. Dollar cost average, Kinetics and Motley. Freddie Quotes, Fire Bun, Steph and Gary. Got Yash Deep, Dave Feeder, Karim and Hex Kong, Joe Hexotic, Hex Lion. Man, this is getting long. Let's shout out to Craig Grant and yes, Trayvon James. We're all content creators and should all be treated the same. I say that to say this, we're in this crypto matrix. It's us against them and we're about to go ape shit. We're the Hexican Space Force and we're blasting off this year. So Hexicans unite, cause we savages out here. I said the Hexicans are loyal with the gang. You disrespect our clique, bang. Haters keep talking. You word? This about assets and interest, economical slang. I said the Hexicans are loyal with the gang. You disrespect our clique, bang. Haters keep talking. You word? This about assets and interest, economical slang.
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. BallietBran.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry to cut the song off early, but I'm back, and like I said, anyone that wants to join, they can. The invite link is out there. So Marco, good to see you, man. He's saying you both rocked. Yep, we're gonna, Marco, just so you know, we're gonna be going until, or at least I'm gonna be going. Whoever wants to, stay with can. But until Hexologist goes live, then I kind of want to rate him and do that. So yeah, we actually got another Hexican. I'm excited to have him on. Him and myself and actually Alan Bittner. His name is Milo, but we're gonna add him on in just a second. We did a stream a long time ago, and anyways, I'm happy to do another stream with him on my channel. So I see him in the background. Milo, just give me like a thumbs up at the camera whenever you are ready. Okay, he is ready. All right, cool. We're gonna have oh cool, Richard's here too, I guess. All right, we'll see. Well, anyways, we're gonna have Milo come on. Without further ado, here he is.
Am I the only one getting in here right now?
I guess
you guys
so,
hear me?
man.
We're here, bro.
Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely, man.
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. How's it going?
Good. How are you, brother?
Hex Mac, I haven't seen you. I've been kind of scrolling around with the different personalities. I haven't seen you. What's up?
Not much, man. What's up? I've seen you around. I've seen you pop up in my Twitter story sometimes. I like your
Twitter
stuff,
story. Oh yeah, I'm in Twitter. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Man. What's are you like new, or are you like a first day guy, or tell me a little bit about you? What's that?
I'm a day 4 OG.
Day 4. Nice.
Yeah. So I took Richard's advice and missed the first couple of days, of promo, and got in on day 4.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Hey, man, pleasure to meet you, by the way.
Yeah, you too, man. Always.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of tweaking my microphone. I haven't been streaming in so long. Just
You're good,
bear with me a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, Milo's definitely a member of the Hexican community, and Milo, I know you and I and Alan did a stream kind of like towards the beginning of your streams, but can you maybe tell us as well? I mean, myself since day 1 and since before that, and Hex Mac took, Richard's advice day 4. And anyways, how maybe share with the community that's listening right now, the audience, maybe, your background too in the Hex and how long you've been in.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on, BallietBran. This guy's always really helpful with all the software and everything. So he's a huge help. So when I came into Hex was 2000. It wasn't even launched. 2018-ish. That was when I was. The thing was that what caught my eye was freaking Richard was getting so much heat from all these guys just because he was talking about how Ethereum was better than anything out there, because since its inception, I mean, they've been constantly progressing about everything that they've been doing. And I was not an Ethereum guy at all. I was always holding to all these bags that, I mean, let's see what happens. And then I'm just going to put $500 there, $500 there, $500 there, see what kind of basket blows up, and then just kind of go with it. But keep in mind, I had no idea what the hell was crypto or anything. I just went with it. It's just like I just threw money out there. But when I was listening to Richard a little bit more, this guy made sense. Like, this guy's getting so much heat. How's it going, man?
Not too bad.
Hexican, nice.
And we're gonna actually add Benny
nice
as
glasses,
well.
Benny. What's going on, fellas?
Nice
Okay.
Getting some feedback in here.
Yeah, I think Benny, you might want to put on headphones. I had to mute you for a second. There was some feedback or something.
Yeah, that's me. How about now?
Yeah, you're good now.
That's better.
So, cool.
Damn, so many new faces. Is it just me, or I haven't been on screen that often?
I've only been like out publicly, really, on Twitter and all that kind of stuff since like just before Big Payday. But I've been here lurking in the shadows the whole time.
Hey, it makes two of us. Makes two of us.
I'm new post Big Payday, unfortunately, but I'm in now, so that's all I care about.
You're still really early, man.
Yeah, I got some good prices. So
180.
Complaining too much.
Hexican, day one. What's that?
I've been in Hex since day 189, I believe, 183 around there.
Nice.
I was mentioning it to Joe Exotic yesterday that Cookie Boys put me on. I probably wouldn't have heard about Hex without him, to be honest with you. I have invested in, the New York Stock Exchange, OTC. I invested in some cryptos that basically didn't work out. I'm pretty sure that's a lot of the stories that I've heard here, and can, see it within other community members as well within Hex, that they've been, dealt that hand with bad cryptos. But for the most part, I'm glad to be in this community because everybody's been basically very positive and very informative. And that's the benefit to this community, is that if you have a question, you can just reach out to somebody, or you can put it on Twitter and have somebody correct you, which is always fun too, because at least you get to learn something new, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, what's the point in knowing everything? We're all learning all the time, and the Hexicans are just a group of like-minded people who love to learn. It's a really beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Well said.
Every day is a journey with this coin. Every day.
Every day.
Like something new. As soon as you think you have it all figured out, something new will come out of the woodwork. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen, because there's so many things like hidden inside, hidden like at the bottom of the like dirty hamper basket. There's so much stuff in there. I just want to see it start moving and like just see everything, just see what happens, because it can't sit here forever. Like this is like the floor right here. And I think it's just going to keep creating a new floor, and just up.
It's the calm before the storm, right?
Yeah, checking out weekends.
But if you look at the sell-offs in the past, I mean, we lasted more than about a month or 40 days or so in the low sell-offs in the previous ones. So every single time we get out of one of those sell-offs, what do you think happens? Like, we've been through this path before 5 times. I know Benny Blanco has just been recently here, so don't freak out about it. Just enjoy it. Just whatever you have, just keep on holding it. I don't think the party's gonna start until like we're over like one fucking dollar. That's what I think.
Yeah. Once it hits that, like,
it's a psychological barrier for a lot of people. Like, oh shit, $1, bro, buy that shit.
Yeah, that's part.
Go on, Benny.
$1 is party time for sure. 50 cents is party time.
Yeah.
Even. I mean, let us hit $100 a share. Then that's when we're really gonna be excited.
You know what's crazy is that what I used to buy, because I came into the market back in 2017, and what I bought, I just put it away and I didn't even think about it. Of course, I went down with the ship, but what really struck me the most was that 2018, 2019, where the bear market was at its worst. I mean, everybody kept on talking to themselves like, "Hey, like your coin is garbage and this and that." It's like, hey, what a bunch of, can I say this word? A bunch of retards in here talking about my coin is this, my coin is that.
Silly
Like,
people.
That's the one for the stream.
We call
You
them
just-
silly people now.
Silly people, whatever.
Silly.
I heard Richard is kind of like cutting that whole word, but I'm like,
Simple.
I love that
jacks.
word. It just makes the point
Yeah.
a lot clearer.
Yeah.
But you don't see that in the regular stock market with people owning. You don't see people with Amazon stocks like throwing shit at Tesla guy stocks. You just don't see that. So so the serious people are not here yet. It's just a couple whales that own it, like the large coins, but the serious money is not even in yet into the rest of the market. So it's a good indicator to see all these guys throwing crap at each other like at a food fight, because it's just kids playing right now. So can you imagine once you start bringing all these guys over, it's like, bro, like we're not even early yet. It's not even. Have you been to the like a football? Going to a football game, going to like a baseball game, like everybody's just barely getting into like the tailgate parties right now. Not even first inning, second inning, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So the serious people are not here yet. Even some of my friends that I onboarded, they're like, "Yo, who's this Richard guy?" I'm like, "Are you serious? You invested in Hex? You don't even know this guy, bro? Like, tune in a little bit.
Right?
Tune in a little bit. Yeah, do a little bit more research." But these guys are serious. Like, I'm gonna be talking to some Colombian guys later on, and they're all Spanish speakers, but they have money, so they just want me to present them like in a more like a personal one-on-one. And I know that it's gonna be like 3 of them, so I'm excited for that because I like doing that more. It's a personal, like one-to-one connection. Like, I shout out to you guys that do content. Like, you guys are really getting the word out there. But for me, myself, I like to talk to somebody like face to face, like, hey, personal. Like, you have any questions directly, like, let me know.
Yeah.
But that's just my style. Everybody has their own flavor.
Yeah, no, that's the best. That's the best for sure.
Yeah, if you guys remember the 2017 people, I don't know how long Milo and Hexican and Benny's been in crypto for, but 27 felt a particular way, and it felt like everyone. Like, I would go to work, and there would be a dude there that I'd never seen before, and he'd be like, "Dude, I made 10 grand in Bitcoin last week." I don't know. It's like, we haven't got to that point yet. It does not feel like 2017 yet. And until this next leg up is going to be so big that I think that people aren't going to be ready for it. I mean, I was in the green room with Dollar Cost yesterday, and we were just talking Moonboy figures for where Bitcoin ends up, where Ethereum ends up this cycle, and where Hex ends up this cycle, and it's triple, quadruple from where we are now in Bitcoin. So there's a lot more to go here. There's another probably year to 2 of this bull run, and it's good to position yourself now. If you can.
Well, Richard mentions it a lot too, right? Is that Ethereum's performed a lot better than Bitcoin it has. So even with the big pump that Bitcoin has experienced, Ethereum is still playing catch up, but at a higher rate. So think about that and how it incorporates into Hex, right? Because you said that the prices kind of correlate with one another. It's only going to go up. So if people see value in Bitcoin, I could only imagine what the cost of one Ethereum is going to be in 2-3 years, maybe. And then the share price of Hex alone, it's going to be a fun game.
This thing is so undervalued. It's insane. Like, what is it? $1,100 right now?
About 12 something, I think. I was checking earlier.
It's so undervalued, man.
It's got at least a 10x this cycle. At least a 10x this cycle.
Yeah, I think so too. Very bullish on Ethereum right now.
What do you think is going to happen to the people who invested in Bitcoin and made big gains? They're going to go ahead and take that transfer over to Ethereum, where they can basically double up on what they've already made.
Well, I can see that.
It's going to be It's going to be a very interesting time just because people are going to be trying to flip their money real quick.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I can see that.
And that's the thing with these things is that like Bitcoin was the first to leave the station, so
I
it's
can't
already
hear you
gone.
guys. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, bro.
Okay.
Nice background, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man. Custom job from Hex.
Be your background forever.
Gotta give me a green room like that.
Dude, your tattoo looks badass, man. I gotta say, props. I still gotta, consider wearing and whatnot. But dude, props for streaming, for doing what you said you're gonna do, getting the tattoo like on your chest too. Like, was it on like? Is it like when you're doing the pledge of? Was it on the left side or right side? Or?
I think I
It's
lost you guys.
It's on my right side.
And no audio.
Oh, that's the guy who got the tattoo?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Did he finish it?
We
Didn't
can
he
hear
have
you.
to
I
go
think
back and finish it?
Hexican might have an audio issue.
Oh, okay.
Or he might not be able to hear.
Yeah, man. So yeah, thank you all for being there. Anybody who was watching, it was fun to get. It was awesome. I like tattoos, and Hex means a lot to me personally. So that was badass. That was a lot of fun.
I'll jump out and come back in. Okay, Bran?
Okay, hey, sounds good, bro. Okay, cool. So yeah, we can all hear you, David. Sorry, what was the last part you said?
I was just saying that it was a blast to get. Hex means a lot to me, and like my tattoos, they tell the story of my life. And if this is real, like this is legit. Like Hex really has done so much for me, and what Richard Hart's done for me. So I'm proud to wear it every day, man. Like absolutely, I'll be a Hexican for the rest of my life, forever and ever and ever. Like and I hope to have T-shares forever too. Like it's just the way it is now, and I love it. So I'm pumped.
Ride those Hex till the wheels fall off.
Say, what'd you say?
Go ahead, Milo.
I haven't said anything.
I said ride those T-shares till the wheels fall off.
Oh yeah.
Till they start spinning and burning and sparks start coming off. Just ride them until you come to a dead stop.
Yeah, even if you came like post BPD, you're good, man. Don't worry about it. It's I think everybody in here is gonna talk to a lot more people, and it's just gonna be like a compounding effect with somebody like, hey, I'm tired of hearing all these guys talking about so much promises and garbage that I want to get into something that's a little, not even a little. It's completely different because, like I said, like when I was looking at everybody just flinging crap at each other and the rest of the crypto market, it's like this is how kids play right now, man. Like there's no serious money yet.
Just wait until everyone has the opportunity instead of 20 different fucking steps getting to, all of these different things. Imagine in the future when everyone has that opportunity in one application to, possibly buy Hex or stake Hex or do whatever on like once everything is all simplified, that makes spreading the word so much more easy. Because I mentioned to HexMac when him and I are doing the stream, and I was telling him about a coworker that tried to get into Hex, and because he was curious, and the 10 or X amount of steps was daunting for him. But then when he heard about 40% APY, and that's just for like yearly or whatever, if you're doing like 10-year stakes and whatnot, you're getting like 60. And anyways, things like that people are interested in, and right now a lot of people are being devalued and inflated away with the dollar. So if we have something in the future that can make such an easier onboard, I think that's just really going to expand the virality phase of Hex, like Milo mentioned.
That's what we need badly, just that, just to cut down even one step, much less 2 or 3 steps. And people are looking for something, man. Like the dollar is not, there's printers are not slowing down. So it's kind of like, hey, we got something over here, hey, I got something to show you,
Well, not to mention, I tell people, they're like, oh yeah, he's just in that crypto, that Bitcoin stuff. And it's like, no, it's nothing like that. Hex was the top performing asset of 2020. People don't realize that, but when you say it, it's like, yeah, anything that you were in that wasn't Hex, Hex did better. So Hex cuckolded your gains.
They have a
but that's hard to present when you get all these companies, centralized companies, gatekeeping the hell out of it. So it's like, again, it's opportunity, but it's hard to present that with these sons of bitches actually just gatekeeping the hell out of Hex. So you got to really take out your phone and literally show them like, hey, this is a chart. Look at the chart. Charts don't lie. Like
Yeah.
everybody can lie to you about anything, but charts do not lie. Just look at it. It's just curb stomping everything else out there. In 2020, during a pandemic, like
that was one of the weirdest things to like wake up one day and like be like $30,000 to $50,000 in front of the position that you had before. It was just like, holy shit, I just lost my job and I'm like $50,000 richer today. Just off the one pump. It was mind-blowing that happened in COVID. Absolutely mind-blowing. When nothing else was moving and everything else was tanking, Hex was just pumping like a motherfucker.
It makes me wonder, would we ever hit a bear market?
Richard talked about that on the Day 4 social where, and we touched on it a bit earlier on stream where, you know, like if everything's going to be in a bear market and people go, oh, okay, this thing pays 40% APY, trustless interest, even if everything else is going down, my Hex will go up every day. I mean, in the bear market, people are going to move their money into something that does that. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You know, if you're in a coin,
what's going to happen to the price if everybody's locked up?
2 and 2 equals 4.
I know this is just like, I know this is mental masturbation, but it's like, hey, this is good stuff to think about. Like, what's going to happen to the price?
Yeah, I mean, like if you're in other investments, these are the things that you need to be thinking about in the future anyway. It's just we're planning, you know, the things that could happen in the future and going, okay, these things could happen. Let's be prepared for them. Let's plan for them. Let's know about these things so that we can take the most advantage of them. And all these other coins is like, okay, I'm just gonna have to ride out a 4 or 5 like, and these cycles are getting longer. So this next bear cycle, 4 years maybe more.
It's very speculative. It's hard to say really what the market will do because you know
that's very true.
It's all based on how people feel, right? How much economic energy they have. So seeing as how these pumps had happened in the market recently, you know, there can't be too much more of that really going on. And I do understand that with Bitcoin and stuff, it was really more like financial institutions that were really dumping money into it and kind of moving it around, which is shady, right? Because they even talk about crypto as being, you know, terrorist type, you know, currency where people move money around and do all types of illegal stuff.
Because it's competition.
Exactly. But then the banks go and put their money in it. So it's like, it's kind of a double standard here. So is it good or is it bad? And I think it's really more of a shakedown. I think they really want to FUD people out of the market and basically have the financial institutions buy up as much as they can. That way, when people like us move into this space, they can block us or lock us out.
I think
so they have control of it. So they have a head start.
Well, like Michael,
I
think the institutions you're talking about now are like MicroStrategy and Grayscale. And they're acquiring. So guys like Michael Saylor, he's got hundreds of millions of dollars of cash that the Federal Reserve and now Janet Yellen, who used to be a chairperson at the Federal Reserve, now she's the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury. So she used to work at the private bank that makes all of the world's money, or the Federal Reserve notes. They loan it to the government, to the Treasury, by issuing bonds. And now with Joe Biden in the $1 trillion stimulus plan, that's the printing press turning on. They're going to print $1 trillion and they're going to start handing it out to everybody. Well, that's going to start inflation. Like everything's going to cost a little bit more. Now, the reason we're not going into hyperinflation, which is like prices of everything go up like crazy, right, is because they're not handing it to the bottom. They're not giving it to the 99%, because then we spend it. And as you spend the money, that's what the velocity of money is what makes prices go up. So they're just printing $1 trillion and they're just handing it out to big corporations and doing a lot of that stuff with it. So we're not going to feel it immediately. But that's why smart guys like MicroStrategy, like Michael Saylor, and like all these institutions, they see this coming. This is what's going to happen. Yeah. So if you want to save your money and preserve your wealth, you got to get it out of cash. You got to get out of the US dollar because they're going to print it into nothing. And that's the plan. They're going to inflate. They want to do it at a certain rate so they can pay off their debt and their bills. Because you can inflate away the debt. That's what Janet Yellen's going to do. She's a very dovish banker. She's going to say on the news, everything's great, guys. Like, oh no, the economy's coming back. Like we're doing good. We're going to do a little stimulus. Like we're going to print some things. Like, yeah, they don't like Bitcoin and they say it's bad because it's competition. Bitcoin is like a different currency that competes with theirs. They don't want that. They don't want you in that. So they're going to try to fudge you out of your bags. They're going to try to fudge you out of crypto. But you got to do the opposite of what the bankers say, and then you win. And that's so that's what's going to, in my opinion, we're going higher. Like all assets, everything's going to cost more. That includes crypto, Bitcoin, especially Hex, like Ethereum, everything, your food, everything. It's coming soon. And then FedCoin, you get your new wallet from the Fed, your app. What I'm worried they're going to do is like, it'll be like they're going to move the decimal place over and we won't know it. It'll just say, oh, you have this many dollars, but behind the scenes at the bank's database, no, they've moved the decimal. We're talking about fractions of a cent you really have, and that's your money. And like they're going to do some weird stuff with central bank digital currencies. CBDCs are coming. What does that look like? They're not sure yet. So even for me, I'm cool to do 555 stakes now in 15 years because I would actually like to get my crypto out of this regulatory environment, and let's see how the laws turn out in 15 years from now. I'm just going to flash forward to the future and skip all this bullshit right now.
Let me throw this over here and just forget about it for a while and escape all of this nonsense. That might
Absolutely. And there's so many narratives that are being espoused by the media, by by everyone, and it's your job to rip those narratives apart, shred them, figure out what's true underneath all of that stuff, and then act accordingly as a result of what you found to be true. And these people that go, I hear a lot of people coming into this space and they're like, well, it's going to do this or it's going to do that, and it's like, let's just see what happens.
Nobody knows. Nobody can know.
No one knows. So
no expectations, right? Don't overpromise and don't overreach.
Can't predict the future like that. Yeah. So,
but you can make your own expectations as well, because I mean, I love marketing and I love to get out there and talking to people. But you know what I've been thinking about? Just because I do own a business, and I want to, instead of buying Hex from here on out, I'm just gonna buy influencers. Just hey, can you shield Hex for $200 in your videos? You got 100,000 followers. This is gonna be juicy. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. But I gotta get the girls first. I gotta get those. There's a way that girls actually have, can hook people in their attention.
Absolutely, man.
Good point.
And there's a lot of girls moving into the Hex community. Go and hit some of them up and see. You want to do some influencing. You want to do some
more.
Gotta get the OnlyFans girls.
Like crypto girls.
There's a couple. Don't worry, there's a couple.
Like that, right?
That's smart, because then
I'm just gonna target the ones that have more than 100,000 followers. Period.
Yeah. Set a limit, but that's great because then you tell one person, and then that's all you got to do, and your work is done. But then they tell their people, and then it just like compounds.
Not only that, but you actually plant the seed of. Did I get frozen? Shoot.
You're still here.
You actually plant the seed of it's like they see like Hex, like for example, like coming out with a clothing brand and just having like obviously like not like the actual Hex logo, but like Hex Toys does it, like the actual brand, and then the word Hex on the bottom, and then that actually put the shirt on during your whatever the hell you're doing, and then see how people react to it.
And it'll just stick on their brain, like somewhere back here. They'll remember it from somewhere.
Right. And then that influencer will gain credibility down the line. It's like, oh, that girl that actually showed that Hex logo, like I invested in that, and I'm gonna follow her. And guess what? Those guys actually have more money now to support those influencers.
And I even try to do it for free on Twitter. Like when I posted that picture of my tattoo, people started calling me Carlo from like BitConnect and like making fun of me and like saying like they said all kinds of shit about me, right? They're calling me some bad stuff out there. And I would click on them actually and look at their followers. Some of these dudes have a couple thousand followers. And also I'll start arguing with them. I'll start like rebuttaling them, and I just want to keep blasting at their like followers. Like, thanks for the free advertising, bro. Let's start this thread. Tell me how I'm wrong. And I start
Nice.
linking like the Hex webpage and like actual facts, and like he didn't have nothing. He's just like, oh, this conversation's over. I'm like, yeah, because you lose. Thank you. Bye.
I ran into so many of those guys, and they're cowards, man. They're cowards. Like, I am dumb to a certain degree. I'm not gonna hide it or anything. I don't know anything like completely everything about Hex. But you get into an argument, I will slap you around in 2 languages if you want. Like, I don't care. But yeah, as you can tell, it's like, hey, if somebody's talking in Spanish and wants to smack talk, it's like, hey, invite me to your stream. I'm gonna slap you around in front of your crowd. See who believes in who the most, because I have, like you guys were talking about, like, hey, I got truth on my side. You guys don't.
That's it. And you can't say that shit without the truth on your side. But
and I'm pretty combative, so it's like, dude, I don't like talking nice. I like to slap people around. But with you guys, it's like, hey, it's all friendly talk. It's all like, because I mean, you guys, we're on the same page.
Yeah, we get it.
And nice doesn't really help. I mean, it's good to be patient. It's good to be kind. Like just letting someone come in and fucking shit talk Hex and Richard and the community. Nah. If you just sit there and let them do that, and you take it, and we all take it, fuck that. You have to like hold your ground. You have to say, no, these are the facts, these are the figures, this is the chart. Go and do your research. And until you've done your research, I'm not going to say anything more to you. I'm not going to engage with you. You're going to make yourself look like an idiot, and you've done my work for me. You know, like, I'm more patient and kind. If people want to be respectful and, you know, you want to come and you want to learn, my arms are wide open. Come on in.
Well, look what happens on Twitter, right?
Say that.
It just takes one bad tweet from one particular person, and then all of a sudden it gets retweeted to the rest of the Hexican community, and then it goes apeshit from there. So people really need to do their own research before they talk on a project that they haven't even done their own research on. And it's easy to point.
Proclaimed expert on Hex without ever have done any research.
Exactly.
That blows my mind. That is like, do you know how stupid you look doing that? Just like the Kool-Aid man breaking through the wall and being like, "Hey, Hex is a scam." It's like, no, dude.
Came up with a great.
Not serious investors. They're not.
That's a good
serious
one.
investors know how to listen.
They're a joke. That's what they make themselves out to be.
Not me.
Yeah. Crazy.
Can I touch on one thing I saw in the comments?
Of course, man.
Bitfinesse warned about something. I think he's right. When the central bank digital currencies come, just to go back to that for 1 second, he's right. They're going to bribe you with money, and that's how they're going to do it. They're going to be like, hey, everybody, sign up. There's going to be like a couple $1,000 in there waiting for you, and this is where all your future stimulus is going to go, and universal basic income. So, like, download this app. You guys have to do it. Like, we're killing cash, and they will trick people into wanting it, and that's what's going to happen. So watch out for that. But I don't know if we'll have a choice. It's kind of inevitable. But just a heads up, that's how to look.
It's kind of like what someone else is saying, and like, you know, we don't have control of what the future is, and we've never even seen a society that has, you know, where we're kind of going. All you really can do is try and like prepare as much as you can, and if you can hold your asset in something, or like have your wealth be stored in something that is like Bitcoin miners, you know, it's just working while you're sleeping, then I think that's really all you can do. Is, I mean, you know, no one's going to have a control, to David's point, like no one's going to have a control of like, you know, where we go in the future, what happens, but you can have a control of your private keys, of, you know, your stakes, things like that.
Oh yeah. Control what you can control, and whatever you can't control, just prepare as well as you can for it. And once you've done all the preparation you can do for what you can't control, then just forget about it, because you can't control it anyway, and you can't stop it from coming, but you're prepared for it. So, but there's no point in continuing to worry about it.
Yeah, bet against the debt. You know, now's the time to spend your Federal Reserve notes before they're liquidated into inflated to nothing. Now's when you buy decentralized digital assets that'll pay you for years to come. Now's your chance. You know, I think people are getting it. We get it. You know, I consider myself like a Hex miner now. Like that's what I just want as many T-shares as possible. Like I get the game and I totally understand the future value of it. So maximize those T-shares and get those mining robots that literally that's all you have to do. Like it really is passive income in the truest sense. It's unbelievable. You know,
Bran, Hexo's about to come on shortly, right?
I'm messaging him right now. I'm confirming the time because I know
we got a good 10
around
minutes.
like 3-4.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we're not going to step on him, but we still
I set my alarm for 6:39 p.m. Eastern time. So that's like the perfect time right there. So I can grab a snack and it's just enough time to put on, sit down.
Can't miss the Hex news.
Can't miss
some T-share prices
every day.
If he can stream every day since launch, then I mean, damn, I can just watch it.
Old reliable, man.
A little bit of it.
Old reliable. Good old Hexo, man.
Yeah.
What a nice guy. And like after the tattoo, I got home and I turned on Hexo and he's doing this. He's got a picture of Richard. He's putting my face on him. I had no idea that was going to happen. I'm like, what? You're kidding me. Like, oh, man. Yeah, dude. Just the coolest, man.
I agree. I mean, Richard, you know, obviously the founder and we all, you know, some of us were in like the telegrams before that, but Hexologist, man, like shout out to that guy, dude, you know, doing live streams every single day and gave RG3 the inspiration to start streaming as well. That's how they did Discourse Syndicate is, you know, him and Hexologist like co-own it or at least co-started it. And now what it's become with the snowball effect and with all of it is just really cool to see. So.
Could you imagine Hex without Hexo?
It'd be pretty stale.
Yeah.
He gives me a
he
laugh
brings
every
all the
single day,
excitement.
dude. Makes
I
me
think
smile,
in some
makes me
way
laugh.
he's like whether it's like an intentional thing or not, I think he's motivated all of us to come out and show our faces. And like he was the one like so there's so many props that need to be given for Hexo for like, you know, after those big initial pumps and coming on stream for 1 or 2 months after that and having to like deal with the bear market, basically, you know, a little bear market and coming on every day and doing that no matter what. I don't think we would be doing this right now without Hexo.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Like when it was just like, because I wasn't in during that time, but I was looking at the chart during those periods, and I was thinking, yeah, that had to be like waking up hungover every day, having to stream still and put on a smile and push it through anyway.
Absolutely,
he did it with COVID. He did it during his wife's, you know, day of birth.
Baby,
like that's pretty intense, bro. Like I don't think my wife would ever let me do something like that. Be on stream while I'm having my baby. She'd be like, "You inconsiderate bastard." Like, but no, Hexo basically pulled through. Even on days where he may have been down and out, he was still there for the community. So that's where I give him big props. Definitely.
Me too. And he never complained. He never said, "I don't want to be here." He never said any of that stuff. He was here to bring us all together, right? Like, respect, Hexo. I see you.
Yeah, and this is
that's the guy with the lab coat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I only seen him twice or 3 times. I think
he's done a live stream every day.
What?
Sick.
You're kidding?
Right here in
yeah. That's like 400 and something days straight now.
He's
Milo.
He's got the medicine for your Hex ailments.
Exactly. When we end this, Milo, we're going to be rating Hexologist. So, you know, if you have time after that, you know, feel free to tune into him too, because I know you said if it's only been 2 times, he is
3
a good
times,
man.
I think.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Either way, it's just
a funny guy.
Like, yeah, he has like the OBS skills too, where like the chats are on the screen and you know he interacts with it. It's great. Man.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's got high production quality. He's like the Daily News.
I've been following this the Swiss guy. What's his name? Hodl Dog.
Hodl Dog. Yeah, Hodl Dog's my boy, dude. Hell yeah.
He's pretty cool as well. Yeah, I'll promote the hell out of him as well. Be like, hey, just watch this guy. He knows what's up.
Yeah.
Crypto
and he has like a really nice tonality.
Really
when he's talking, so it's like
laid back.
You can soak up everything like right away. Like,
yeah.
He's got the ASMR voice. Oh yeah, and he's got fat steaks too, and he really breaks it down and like shows you how to do it. Like Whole Dog's the man, dude.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things
he
I want
has
to
his
do.
he has his full account like in display. I'm like, dude, you probably should not be doing that. But hey, that's his style.
He's a baller.
That's his style.
He's a baller. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how honest some Hexicans are. Yeah, and like even me, I've shown my dream wallet, and like I no expectations, but like once Staker app comes out, like version 2.0 or whatever's going to happen, like on Sunday nights after Hexo, like I want to do like a Staker.app Sunday night stream, and like I'll show you my dream wallet, and we'll look at all the stakes, and we'll look at how it's going, and
just don't show your address though.
I mean, it's the dream wallet. It's just a public address. Like people can throw donations there if they want, or do whatever. It's the dream wallet, you know.
You might catch a few flyers, you know. You never know.
Yeah, and like now the Staker app's going to have the referral link, so you know you gotta. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah.
Like you can do that now. You can already print your own referral link in Staker app. So eventually, I think like even just on Twitch, like just turn it into a game. Like I'm just gonna play Staker app every once in a while and just show it off and gamify it and. But do it on Twitch, man. People love it.
Is that referral
that's just for
feature ready yet?
So it's just on Android right now. If you download Staker app, make your account, but you could do it right now. It'll give you your referral app, and then you could even rewrap that in your own URL. You know, I'm planning on getting like some kind of .com or something, and then it's just a custom one for me. And click that, download Staker app.
Everybody you refer, so they'll take your link, they'll download the Staker app, and then add their account, and then whatever they do from then forward, you get rewarded for it.
I think 20%. I think is the
default.
20%. 20% of their stakes you get. Yeah.
So if I get a millionaire,
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
try to bag the whales.
And that's
you bet I will.
So maybe eventually there may just be Staker app players like 24/7 on Twitch eventually.
Because
there might just be a bunch of us
Absolutely.
just playing all day. It's like got on the big screen and we're just staring at it, you know.
And because it's already gamified, it's already a game. Like it's all without even the referral program there. It's already this like another layer of game theory that's been added onto the most insane game theory product out on the market.
People
it's
say
pretty
it's
insane.
You know, we're going to become crack dealers. Staker app.
Those ranks. You want to get those animals, right? Because even with my dream wallet, it's a squid. Like so,
gotta
as
check,
I'm getting
gotta check.
Yeah, every week when you add more stakes, it just ratchets up. Man, all right, dude, let's get to dolphin. We want to be dolphins. Like just week by week, you just update your progress and get there.
It's so brilliant to set up the ranking system. Oh man, that was just like next level. Because then I see that, you know, and I've got a mark I'm trying to get to, and it makes it fun. It just adds a little extra.
That would get the influencers going into it here.
I was just about to say that, Milo. Like for everyone who missed out, like Benny, you got into Hex late, right? So you missed out on that referral program for the whole first year. All you guys who missed out in that first year, you're going to get a second shot at this. You're going to get a second shot at being able to refer people, make a fucking massive bag by doing that. And, you know, like just that alone is so much like the content creators, the people putting out, you know, music, like we're all going to be able to put out addresses and, you know, things that you can donate to. But that is just like if you can't get to your goal through your job, through the amount of money that you make, here's another way to do it. Here is another way to grab a big bag.
It's got that incentive to go onboard people. Like, you know, wake up in the morning and be like, I'm going to get 10 people today, you know, or, you know, you're fired up to do it even more, you know,
and no expectations. But once, if Steph and Firebun, if they can get a fiat on-ramp built in, somebody could just save their credit card in that thing. And you just be like, yo man, play this app. And it's just, you just click and buy Hex with one click and just keep adding it. Game over, dude. Like game over.
That's it. That's the winner right there.
Because people literally respond to incentives, literally.
But there's no other like.
I'm gonna go to bed tonight dreaming about that.
You're probably not gonna sleep all night.
Dreaming about it.
No, here's the Staker app for me was being able to show people my stakes and being able to show them the actual interest gained, because they see it as you know, like most people have online, right? It's a scam, but then you show them your wallet, and then you show them the Hex.com staking page, and you can show them your principal, that what you put in initially and what the interest you're gaining is and how long for. that really changes it because it makes it more real for them. You know, we can talk about it all day, but if you're not
Every
showing
detail.
them stats or information that's valid, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna just basically ignore you. But if you put it to them in a way that they can actually see it, like Milo was talking about, how you have to have that one-on-one, especially when you're talking about people, you know, who speak different languages, it's easier to clarify it to them when you're able to speak their own language, right? Regardless of where you come from, it makes it a whole lot more transparent than telling somebody something and just going away for a few months. You know what I mean? Like it's very beneficial to have Staker app and the Hex.com site up, so that way you could show them the actual proof of what you're gaining.
And that way you don't look like just another sleazy salesman. You
Exactly.
know,
Absolutely.
Churn and burn, like, you know, just get your commission. Like you don't. Yeah, exactly. The one-on-one, and then you can be like, look, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Like, look, let me show you my app. You know, this is what I've invested. So clearly I'm not just like, I'm putting my money where my mouth is right now. Clearly.
That's why I show mine. That's why I want to. It's Sunday nights, man. I'm gonna start doing it. I'll show you my Staker app live on Twitch. I'll be there.
Right on. I'll be there.
And you know, a lot of people get into that like multi-level marketing or the referral programs thing, and it is I'm just going to use you to get what I need out of it. But with Hex, like, this is a 15-year commitment. If you onboard someone and then just bail,
committed.
Like, I'm here for 15 years. I can't go anywhere. I am here for 15 years. You're going to be here with me this whole time. And, you know, I'm not just going to fucking bail after I get your referral link or whatever. I can take you through and we can have this journey together for 15 years. That's like, what other referral program has that?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Literally nothing. And not only does no other referral program have that, but what other crypto has its own app? Nothing?
Nothing.
And then a referral program on top of that, and a league system, and a, you know, real-time stats and all that.
Dude,
that is first mover advantage. Absolutely. There is nothing in crypto like that. If you can have the fiat on-ramp for staking ladders and everything like that, that is the tool for mass adoption. There is nothing else at the minute. Nothing else.
And just one last thing that I want to add on.
There's the Hex farm.
Hex is going to be on right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Make your
then.
point real quick and just say your point.
So
real
just,
quick.
you'll be surprised how much money you can make out of referral programs, because literally with Hex, when I was literally shilling my link I literally shilled it to 7 people, and and within that whole year that the referral program was going on, I made over like 4 million Hex on it. I didn't put much even effort in it, but I noticed one guy was shilling my link, and I was like, bro, you could have made more, but you were shilling mine, bro. I owe you a lot. So
imagine getting a god whale as a referral.
Yeah, exactly. Like
great referrals.
So you'll be surprised how much you can make out of like accidentally with the referral program.
That becomes a job at that point as well. Like you can just do Hex referrals.
Dude, 4 million in Hex. That's like what, 31 grand right now.
Yep.
So it's powerful. It's powerful.
That's the kind of sales. I can be that kind of salesman, you know, selling
Later, Bran. Have a great day, bro.
All right. Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, we're rating Hexologist on Hex.doctor right now. So we're gonna let everyone have the same opportunity next weekend if they want, or you know, tomorrow I'll be streaming with Bitfinesse most likely. So maybe after that we might be able to.
Cool. I'll be there.
Other people come on too, but. Yeah, for now, let's support the guy that's been doing it every single day, you know. So Hex.doctor. I'm gonna let everyone go.
See you there.
Appreciate you, man. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks, man. And then have a good day too. And for anyone that wants to find all my links, allmylinks.com/BallietBran. And we're rating him on Hex.doctor or twitch.tv/thehexologist. So I'm gonna end the stream now. Thank you, everyone, and see you over there.